It's really simple to make finding cheap motor insurance easier. You just go to mustard.co.uk. They compare policies from leading insurance providers to find you quotes that really do cut the mustard. Plus, with their cheapest online price guarantee, why go anywhere else? Make finding cheap motor insurance easier. Compare today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Details online. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchised dealer groups in the UK.
We'll be coming back for you one day.
This is Rangers versus Liverpool.
Destiny has called on Rangers.
Liverpool supporters erupt again.
Is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Here come the teams at Ibrox. Let's go there and speak to Gabriel.
Yes, Gordon, the team's coming out now. You can hear the noise of the crowd behind them. Liverpool in 3 of the last 5 Champions League finals up against Rangers. No points, no goals yet in this group stage, but hoping it all changes this evening. You can hear the Champions League music just starting behind me. And to the left, in the Broom Lone Stand, a display has come up, a display of red and blue flags waving all over. The Rangers crest flying over it. It reads Royal Rampant Rangers. And they'll want a rampant Rangers this evening if they are to get a result that they need to give them any chance of playing European football after Christmas. You've got to look at this Rangers team and you look at Antonio Cholak, preferred up front to Alfredo Morelos. Is he the man that can stick the ball past Alisson in the Reds' goal? Are there other places that Rangers can exploit? You look at the Liverpool team, the young Carvalho and Elliott. They see this atmosphere. They won't have seen anything like this before. Can Rangers run over the two in midfield the way that Arsenal did on Sunday? Joe Gomez out of position at right back. Perhaps former Liverpool man Ryan Kent can get the better of him. I was speaking to John Lundstrom yesterday. He's currently shaking hands with Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson. And he was saying there's something special about Ibrox. Something just happens under the lights. And his team need to harness it and show no respect to the opposition. This place is absolutely rocking. Last season, Leipzig, Dortmund, Braga and more all succumbed to the pace of play here at Ibrox. The question is now, can Van Bronckhorst's men conjure up something special again here and keep their continental dreams alive? The two teams are currently posing for the team photos. Kickoff is just 1 minute away. The Ibrox crowd raises its voice again. It's going to be a special night here in Govan.
Super Scoreboard European football coverage with MoyerandSweeney.com. The top team for your defence.
I mean, listen to that, Marvin Bartley. Is that not the type of stage you want to be involved in when you dream of becoming a professional footballer?
I definitely wasn't Tony Macaroni I want to be involved in, but no, honestly, Gordon, unbelievable. You saw the Liverpool players walking out there and hearing the atmosphere and almost a couple of looking shell-shocked, and then the Rangers fans, they're just, puffing out their chests and walking out there. What a magical game this really can be. The fans are doing their part right now. Let's hope the players can back that up.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal again. I think the hairs will be standing the back of the Liverpool players' necks at the moment because that atmosphere looks phenomenal. And yeah, again, it's where you want to be, it's where you want to play your football, but ultimately it's the Rangers players that need to step up and produce a huge performance tonight to try and get the points.
Yeah, just seeing the teams come out. This game doesn't need many more ingredients to make it a classic, Marvin. It would have been nice to see the Scotland captain out there playing a game at Ibrox. Maybe he'll come on as a sub, who knows. Yeah, exactly, outside of that. But no, look at the pitch, looks absolutely magnificent. I really can't wait for this. I hope Gio's true to his word. I hope the players go after Liverpool. I hope they turn the ball over early and get an early goal and really put Liverpool on the back foot, because as I said, this is kind of the battle of Britain, and right now, Gordon, I'm in Scotland, so I'm all for Scotland winning this one. He's given it the big one to impress the listeners, but what he told us during the break, Cammy, is that his brother's a Liverpool fan and he wants to annoy him, basically. Yeah, we'll take your support any way you can.
No, as Marv said, it's such a big game for these two clubs. I think it's a massive game for Liverpool. That's a pizza.
Oh, see, seeing these 11 o'clock shows.
That's why you have to be healthy like me. Yeah, you two guys.
Have you not touched it, have you?
Nah, pizza's down your shirts and stuff. Nah, I'm fine. I'm
hitting.
Impressed
with you. I must admit, you're right there. You survived.
I think
Caleb,
so. I'm
we
all
need
right.
you until there's 3 hours to go. I hate to tell you.
I think I'm all right, Gordon.
Good,
mate.
right, good. Well, we're underway. Go on then. Give us a hopeless prediction. Scoreline.
I am going to go 2-1 Rangers.
He's always such an optimist, and I like it. Cammy.
I'm gonna be 2 each. I'm gonna go 2
Well,
each.
that's interesting. Both the guys went to each. Celtic last night, and well, they got the 2 bit right for one of the teams, but didn't quite pan out. So we'll see how this one starts. If you're looking for early clues, I mean, I'm very early. We're inside the first minute, but Liverpool with early possession and do look comfortable. Is that important for them? I mean, I know we're much more concerned about what Rangers doing. Hold on a minute. Liverpool have got in behind quite easily here, but it's hacked away out to the right hand side. They're just trying to do the absolute opposite, Cammy. Marvin, they want early possession. They want calm possession like they did last week, because you sometimes get a feeling for a game, don't you? It became quite clear last week early how it was going to pan out, didn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. And as you said, Liverpool want to build into the game. They want that early possession. They want to kind of play the nerves out of their system. But you see Rangers, every time the ball goes backwards, Liverpool play backwards, Rangers players are pressing. Last week you didn't see that. The ball went backwards for Liverpool, Rangers sat off it. Now they're in a close vicinity to Liverpool players every time one of them touches the ball, and it's just about trying to turn it over as they've done there with Lundstrom. So it's great pressing from Kent. Gomez tries to play it forward, then all of a sudden Rangers have the ball, but they need to find a few passes themselves. I
mean, it's been a night of talking about missed chances. I suppose if there's one way of looking at it, I know Rangers lost the game last week. They'll be hoping that Darwin Núñez is as wasteful as he was at Anfield.
Yeah, most definitely. He's come under a little bit of stick, hasn't he? I think it was 1 goal in 28 games until the Arsenal game, but he's come under a bit of stick. But again, a big money signing, massive signing for them. He needs to turn up for Liverpool today, but hopefully it doesn't happen.
Konate has thundered into Ryan Jack, who looks in a bit of bother. It is a free kick to Rangers. In your day, Marvin, you'd have loved that tackle. You would not have been happy if the ref had given a foul for that.
No, in my day I definitely would have been happy with that, but the game's changed an awful lot. But again, that comes from Ryan Jack being close. That comes from Arfield turning it over, playing a kind of 1-2 with Jack, and then them getting the free kick on the halfway line. So already, I know it's 2.5 minutes in, it's easy to do. They are pressing higher, and Gio has been true to his word, so they need to continue that and hopefully get a shot on target early doors.
Just the force of that winded Ryan Jack or something, Cammy. I don't think he's got any real issues.
Yeah, I think he just rides the challenge, and as you say, the way he maybe comes down, he looks fine at the moment. But as Marv said, Rangers have started completely different, pressing high up the pitch in Liverpool's faces. Listen, we all know these Liverpool players are very, very good, but they're even better when you don't press them. There's no pressure on the ball. So I think Rangers need to continue to do this. They've obviously got possession of the ball at the moment as well, and build themselves into this game, and they need to be much more composed on the ball than they were last week, because they turned it over far too easily.
Here's the first sign of attacking intent from Rangers. A long ball to Ryan Kent. Joe Gomez kept looking at the assistant ref, hoping a flag would go up, and it didn't. So a chance for Rangers just to build down this left hand side. Borna Barisic and John Lundstrom keeping it, though not in any great rush, Marvin. So that's important to maintain a level of patience, I suppose.
Yeah, most definitely.
What a switch that is from John Lundstrom. Rangers are in the box, and unfortunately it's just a tame effort from Sakala, because that wasn't a bad sight of goal early on.
It's a shot on target they got in. Helps that XG that we were talking about earlier. But no, listen, that starts with...
Would that be one of the low quality chances they speak of?
That's a low quality one. But no, listen, Rangers turn the ball forward down Gomez's side. I spoke about Rangers' left hand side and Liverpool's right, and Kent's in a foot race with him. He's going to beat him all day long. Gomez is a centre back naturally, so they have to keep attacking him down that side. And Lundstrom, fantastic switch to Sakala. And obviously, like you said, it was a tame effort, but it's a good start for Rangers, a positive start.
Well, even I know Liverpool have got various absentees, Cammy, but they sort of, I'm not saying they totally revolutionised it, but they became really famous for their fullbacks being arguably the most important part of their team. That's not the way we think of football in years gone by. Ryan Kent curls one over. So to have that pair of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson both missing, it's a big blow for them.
It's massive for them. Huge part of their team, the way they play and how they get forward as well and threaten teams. So they're going to miss them tonight, but they need to try and find a different way to win this game. But Rangers have started really positively. Again, Kent's faced them up and cut inside and just whipped it over the bar a few yards there, but it's been all positive. And even Fashion Sakala again when his chance there. He was positive, he wanted to take him on, he just didn't catch a shot well enough, but it was all positive from him. There was no checking back or looking for a pass. He wanted to try and score a goal, so they've started really, really well.
Yeah, no, they have been brilliant. They have been brilliant at the start, and it needs to continue. Even Lundstrom there, sitting on the toes of Nunes. Goldson holds him up. Lundstrom nicks the ball off the front of him, and then they manage to retain possession. They have started really well, Rangers, both off and on the ball.
And again, you don't want to speak too soon because obviously they're still good players. But if you're, say, Tavernier and Barisic, you're absolutely delighted that even an out of form Mo Salah's not playing, or that Diaz is injured. Marvin, that still remains.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've just gone over.
Yeah, over Nunez's head.
Yeah, when those team sheets came out, Gordon, and all players do it. Your manager starts to write up the opposition team on there, and he's writing and he's getting to that kind of left wing or right wing. You don't see Salah. You rub your hands together. There's no doubt about it. Both of those fullbacks have been absolutely delighted because when he doesn't start on the left, you think maybe he's starting on the right. When he's not there at all, that's a never boost for the Rangers players. And listen, they'd much prefer him sitting on the bench where he is from their point of view than on the pitch. So take advantage of that now.
And I know this sounds crazy because it's 6 minutes in, Cammy, but after 6 minutes last week you could see how dangerous Liverpool looked. So small victories, one step at a time. Liverpool may still go on and win it, but there does seem to be a difference in it, at least the way the game's sort of shaping up. Yeah,
I think Liverpool know they're in for a game tonight rather than again probably the game that they wanted was a dream game last week. They're not low in confidence. The Rangers just sat off them, allowed them to build themselves into game, play loads of possession passes and create opportunities without much pressure. Rangers have just been right on top of them, right in their faces, make it difficult for them. And as I say, they are good players, but ask the question of them, make them have to play that very good pass rather than no pressure on them and they can get their head up and play whatever pass they want. But Rangers also tonight have been good in possession. They've not rushed things. They look much more composed, relaxed. And they need to do that. They can't turn the ball over like they done last week or Liverpool will hurt them.
How is that Liverpool press comparing to the way it operated last week, Marvin?
I think they tried to press for the first couple of minutes. They tried to press high, and I think Rangers played through them a couple of times. And now you can see Firmino try and sit in and around Lundstrom or whoever the number 6 is for Rangers to stop them being able to play through the lines. But Firmino, for all the qualities he does have, his legs aren't one of the main ones. So again, not having Salah there, Mane last season, for example, not having those sorts of players there able to press makes it easier to Rangers, and they are keeping more possession.
Oh, you're delighted if you're a defensive player for Rangers, aren't you? Give me a bit of time to think about what I'm doing.
Exactly. But when it comes to Davis, as I said, they're just trying to turn it down that line. They're not afraid to stretch the game, and Kent's trying to do it down that side, whereas on the right hand side Taverner's trying to play a bit more to feet. And
I think what you've also got is you've got Arfield that will go beyond as well and stretch the game, and he likes to run in behind. He's got good timing as he runs as well, so that's a positive that he's in the team. I just seen him make a run down the left hand side. The ball went out of the pitch, but he is a willing runner that'll go beyond.
Yeah, slight frustration for Rangers when you do have relative comfortable possession. It goes back to Alan McGregor. He went to clear it and he put it out the park, so it gives the throw into Liverpool. But Rangers do put on a bit of good pressure.
Yeah, as I said, look, the ball goes back to the goalkeeper. Look at the difference this week. Cholak showing them one way, and then Alisson's trying to play forward. Obviously the difference is he managed to keep it in the pitch, and like McGregor wasn't able to do. That's probably the difference there, Gordon. Difference in the leagues.
Honestly, he's just lasered one right to the chest.
No, I wouldn't say lasered.
To the neck.
Come on, well done.
Yeah, maybe it was a bit high to control, but they managed it.
Yeah, we would have struggled with that, especially me. Bounced straight off the pitch.
I was doing my research earlier. I was scrolling to see if there was any evidence of you getting lucky and getting an FA Cup game or anything against Liverpool in your time, but I don't think it came, did it?
Didn't they? Were scared of me. Scared of me in a mighty Leyton Orient. Great line there as well. And this is another thing, just watching this game. Every time the ball's going back, the Rangers' back four are pressing the game. Yeah. They're happy to have that space in behind. There's no Salah. Nunes is not going to run away from them. Firmino's not going to run away from them. And as you said, strikers are normally lazy. Look, Nunes has been caught offside, and all of a sudden Rangers have possession again. So
strikers are normally lazy.
They are. They don't want to stay on side, Gordon. So when the ball goes back, yes, it's all good. Rangers players pressing, running forward, doing their bit. The defenders have to do their bit as well and get as high as early as they possibly can.
Yeah, Rangers looking comfortable in the game. Cross comes in towards Cholak, but he's got two big centre halves either side. And as it goes up to Nunez, it's not great. Complete miscontrol from him. Goldson nips in, and now it's a foul Rangers way.
That's brilliant.
It helps. Yeah. It's because we keep saying we know these guys have got good ability. We don't need to keep repeating it, but them not having confidence helps. Marvin, you're talking about Nunez, and I know he scored at the weekend, but we had a bit of fun with it in last week's show. There was whisper at the talk about whether him or Haaland was the better signing. I think we've had that one answered a little bit. And he did miss chances last week, so good player, yes, but obviously not at the top of his game. And I wonder how Liverpool would like this guy. Sadio Mane has just put Bayern Munich 1-up against Victoria Pilsen.
Exactly, they definitely miss him, Gordon. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt that they miss him. But again, Goulson's in and around Nunes. We didn't see that last week in terms of the Rangers being as tight as they are today. And like I said, he overturns it because he gets a foul.
I think he got past marks though from Liverpool give it away, but they win it back. I think most of the callers and pundits who were on, Cammy, felt Goldson, McGregor and Leon King got past marks last week. Yeah, and again, but as Marv said there, the aggression, how touch tight Goldson is, and makes it difficult for Liverpool. I thought he was good last week. Alan McGregor for me was the star man. Obviously made big saves at big moments, kept them in the game. And you would say that as a fully paid up member of the goalkeepers union. Yes, of course. No, but he did. I mean, he made some fantastic saves, and he's going to have to do that tonight because Liverpool will get opportunities. But just the way Rangers have set up tonight and are being aggressive on the front foot, trying to press them, it's much, much better. Last week I was really, really disappointed watching the game. I just felt like Rangers handed the victory to Liverpool, but tonight it looks like they're going to make a game of it. Yeah, they most definitely are. Like I said, they're constantly in and around them. Ryan Kent's now picked the ball up behind, just managed to overturn it. But I've never seen Liverpool, in the first 10, 11 minutes of a game go as long as they have today. And that's because the defenders are under pressure. There's no controlled entries into kind of Rangers' defensive third. All the balls are into Nunes' chest. He's having to control it, hold players off. Again, they're trying to do it there. Goulson's so close to him. And that's what they need to do all night. It's no point doing it for the first 10, 11 minutes. You have to do that for the full 90 minutes. So then if they can do that, they can definitely get a result. Yourself, Marv, when you've played in a team that's probably got lesser quality than Celtic and Rangers domestically, if you get up against them, press them high, make it really difficult, loads of energy right in their faces, it helps you. When you sit off, it becomes really difficult to sit off for a long period of time without them hurting you. Yeah, it's a leveller. It definitely is a leveller. Listen, as we said last week, if you're going to sit off good players, they're going to make the right decisions 9 times out of 10. They're going to punish you, and that's what happened to Rangers last week. But now they're in and around the Liverpool players. They're making them think, they're making them work hard, they're being physical with them. Those players don't want that. They are working hard, Rangers, there's no doubt about it. Although Harvey Elliott's just burst through the middle there into number 10 position, tries to dink it over. Yeah, and it looks like it's a good clearance in the end for James Tavernier. That shows what even this offside. So-called out of sorts and lacking confidence Liverpool team are capable of. I wonder if it was the pass from Nunez rather than the first one. Yeah, Elliott to just off. I'll tell you what, because his knee. An incredibly good call from the official then. Yeah. It's one of those they wait now, don't they? Anyway, until it goes off. Fair play if he spotted that. Yeah, it was just his kneecap, I think, was offside, but it was a really good decision. But yeah, Harvey Elliott got turned facing the Rangers goal and driving up the defence, and the defence were obviously having to back off. He's flicked one kind of by the two centre halves, and thankfully he was offside. But it's a warning sign for Rangers. But listen, they're going to have to defend at periods in this game, no matter how aggressively they press or go up against Liverpool. Liverpool will create chances, of course they will, but it's what Rangers can do with the ball as well and how they can hurt Liverpool tonight. When McGregor's playing those forward passes as well, he's just tried to hit one there. I think they've trying to isolate Sakala with Tsimikas, who's obviously Liverpool left back. If he gets that just wrong, Van Dijk's on that side. So for me, that's so much more big of a risk to do than trying to hit Kent and get him to compete with Gomez, because obviously we know how dominant Van Dijk is in the air. Because you mentioned, last week Liverpool had time, and that suits good players. You said, Marvin, they can make good decisions, but it felt like last week, even at times if Rangers wanted to get closer, that suited some of the Liverpool players. Thiago wants you to come close because they'll embarrass you. Diaz played, Trent played, and they all comfortable at it. Look, I'm not saying there's a massive drop off. They've not gone down Liverpool High Street and plucked some guys to come take the place, but there is a drop off tonight in terms of some of the individuals that they've got playing compared to last week, and particularly when it comes to their comfort levels in possession of the ball. Yeah, most definitely. As you said, there's probably not many better players than Thiago in that centre midfield area, kind of in Britain for getting on the ball and keeping the ball. But I think the difference today is that not only one Rangers player is trying to get tight to his man, everyone else is doing the same thing. They're all on the same wavelength, whereas last week I think one or two would say, I want to go and press, and then no one will press behind them, and Liverpool keep easy possession. And then, the players began to get frustrated, where here today, obviously 15 minutes into it now, all of them are getting tight, all of them are pressing, all of them are on the same wavelength. And it's just, have they got the energy to keep that up, not until half-time, but till full-time? 15 minutes in, Cammy, when you're at this level and you're up again and you're underdog, do you do that? You just take it one sort of chunk at a time, try and navigate the start of the game and take what you can, build throughout it.
Yeah, I think it's been a positive start for Rangers. I think Gio would have been wanting them to be right in their face, aggressive, on the front foot, but also get some possession in as well, which they have done, and be composed on the ball. And yeah, they need to take confidence from that. Liverpool now know they're in for a completely different game than last week, and Rangers are going to consistently ask questions.
Yeah, a nice big switch from Tavernier to Ryan Kent. He's just going to ask Barisic to put it in first time, and he does. But Rangers seem to have numbers in good areas. Yep. Every time you think a pass is overhit, there's a Rangers player there, but it can't cause any problems this time.
But there they've got 4 or 5 bodies in the box, which is positive. They're willing to get bodies forward. Last week, Morelos was isolated up front, and even when people were coming to join him, it was 2 or 3 seconds later, and he'd probably lost the ball by that point because he had nobody to help him. So it is a different setup. Liverpool have just went long from Alisson there and gave possession back to Rangers, and they're comfortable at the back, knocking the ball about and building themselves into this game.
Yeah, Rangers haven't created any chances as such. The sort of Sakala half one Marvin, but I would reckon we've still already seen more of Alisson in our TV screen in the 16 minutes.
We know he's there today
than we did at points last week.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as Cammy said there, they're making kind of defenders defend. And one thing it looks to me that Rangers are trying to do, when Tavernier gets that ball wide with the quality he has with his right foot, Cholak's coming on to Van Dijk, and Scott Arfield's trying to burst in, but the gap between the two centre halves, and what that's doing is pulling everyone narrow. There you go, he's done it again there. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Rangers
what a
have
finish.
scored. Scott Arfield drives forward, fires one into the bottom corner, the trademark salute celebration, and Rangers lead at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Liverpool 0.
Honestly, that's exactly what I was talking about there. Scott Arfield's trying to burst along. It's so good. Down Rangers' right hand side, Cholak's coming across to engage Van Dijk, and then Scott Arfield exploits that space. He does it there, he picks the ball up, he drives. Ryan Kent staying out wide left, so Gomez doesn't know where to stick or twist. And what a great finish that is, by the way. Still has a lot to do. And the place is bouncing.
Is bouncing. A second salute from Scott Arfield, because Rangers are leading Liverpool. Great possession. Great tenacity, to rob Liverpool of possession. Arfield drives to the edge of the box and he picks his spot. They say Antonio Cholak can't do the link-up part. He plays a vital role in it as well. And it's a great finish from Scott Arfield. What a start for Rangers, Cammy.
Yeah, unbelievable. Again, as you just said, Cholak links the play up with Ryan Jack, who then finds Arfield. He's so good at timing his runs. And listen, that's a guy you want in the end of it, because he's a composed player, and that's a fantastic finish. Alisson, absolutely no chance. And listen, Rangers have started this game brilliantly. They need to continue playing the way they're playing. They can't drop off.
Yeah, don't take away from Cholak's movement there. I know he links the play up, but he starts on Konate, he comes across to Van Dijk, the defender doesn't pass him on, he goes as well. Arfield sees the space, exploits it. Ryan Kent stays wide, which allows for Arfield to have that space between Gomez and Konate. Like, they all played their part in that, but as Cammy said, they now need to maintain that. The next 5 minutes are vital. Don't concede. Use the energy that you're going to get the lift from that goal and keep going after them.
A first goal of the Champions League group stage for Rangers this season. Not a bad time and place and occasion to get it in, Cammy.
No, listen, it was a fantastic goal as well. That's the beauty of it, that it was a great team goal, very good individual finish from Arfield, and he's an important player for Rangers. He's probably underappreciated a little bit, I think, because he doesn't play every single week because they're so strong in that central area. But when he plays, he's always on the end of it. His timing, his runs are phenomenal. And as I said before, he's willing to go forward. He wants to get on the ball. He wants to get his shots at goal. It's been a great start for Rangers, and absolutely delighted for them.
Yeah, it's his legs, isn't it? His legs are so important.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. His running legs. The energy has to go in behind. Absolutely fantastic. The unselfish runs that he's willing to make, and on that occasion he got rewarded with it, and rightly so. And again, Rangers now keeping possession. They're not panicking. They're not just throwing it forward. And by the way, Gio would have come up with a game plan and said to the players, let's go and do this. But these players, to a T, are doing it now. And their confidence is growing, because it's one thing your man just saying, go and play Liverpool in a certain style. And it's another thing executing it. And I know it's only 19.5 minutes in, but so far, so good for Rangers.
Brilliant. It's been great. And as you say, execution is a key word there, because it's all fine, a manager, team talk in the changing room saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But actually going out and doing it on the pitch against such a high quality opposition. Listen, Liverpool are missing players, we know that, but they'll be expecting to come to Ibrox and win this game. But at the moment they know they're in for a long 90 minutes at the moment, the way Rangers are playing.
To tie it loosely to the theme of the show, Marvin, take your chances when they come along. This has been a good start from Rangers, but they've not really had many chances. It's not like they've been knocking at the door and you say, oh, this goal's coming. But when an opportunity presents itself at this level, you need to take it, and Scott Arfield does. Absolutely ruthless, as you just said there. And that is the difference. We're talking about that final third. That is the difference. That's where the money makers are. If they can take their chances, you've got more than enough chances in games. They're going to create chances. And I think Sakala's the only other one on target, isn't it, that I can remember rightly? I remember Kent coming inside. That's a bit short. Unlucky. It was a short back pass from Joe Gomez, and Ryan Kent, Antonio Cholak, I think, got there, and he nicked it past Alisson, but
it's a cute angle, isn't it?
The angle
they're rattled though. These Liverpool players are rattled, and this is what I was saying about the atmosphere first and foremost. They're not letting them settle. Then you score a goal. That's the ideal start for Rangers. These Liverpool players are rattled. They know that the fans are going to be all over them. They don't want to be losing this game. They've not started the season great. Rangers need to keep this up. They really, really do need to keep this up. That was just a ball from John Lundstrom. He's just turned it round the corner, but knowing that Ryan Kent's going to go up and put pressure on them and force the Liverpool player into a mistake that almost gives Rangers the second goal they'll be looking for. But that's the difference this week. They're making Liverpool actually have to make mistakes and try and play good football through them, and it's not happening at the moment. Credit to Rangers, and I'm sure that Jurgen Klopp will feel his side could do more. We've seen next to nothing from Liverpool in the opening, and that's us. We're a quarter of the way through this game already. Marvin, we spoke about ticking off the minutes and trying to negotiate your way through the game, and Rangers are certainly doing that. Yeah, you definitely put it into quarters, and they're nearly at the end of the first one now for them, and this has been the ideal start for them. They just need to keep that little bit of composure, because Sakala's turned the ball over a little bit too easy there. But listen, when you have to defend, get tight to your man. Núñez is starting to drift a bit wider now because he's not getting the service he wants into his feet in the middle, which means the centre-halves are doing the right job. Liverpool's turn to get a shot off from the edge of the box. It was Carvalho, and it curls harmlessly wide, I think we'll call it. I'm not sure there was any real concern from Alan McGregor. No, you're happy with him shooting from there, aren't you? What's that, 20, 25 yards out? You're happy for that shot to be hit from there. And there's good pressure on it as well. I think it's Goldson that's closing him down, so it's not a free shot. He has to really do very well that to be Alan McGregor. I think that's the difference, isn't it? Because it wasn't a million miles away from where Scott Arfield hit his. But the difference is Arfield's running at goal and it's all opening up for him. Yeah, exactly. And Carvalho's coming off from the wing. He's hitting it, and as Cammy said there, Goldston sliding across him. Nothing was made easy there. Just need to stay switched on now, though, Rangers. They getting a bit ragged. They've put a lot of energy into this first 22 minutes, and now it's trying to find the passes. And obviously Lundstrom's been robbed of the ball there. Carvalho hits it. McGregor's unable to stop it from going for. Is it going to go for a corner? I think it is. Yeah, corner to Liverpool, their first of the evening. It was just a slack ball from Tav there. He's trying to play it inside, a dangerous ball, because it opened Rangers right up, and they defended well enough to make sure they got the block in it from, I think it was another shot from 25 yards, but it's went out for a corner. But as Marv said before, Sakala's gave it away, now Tav's gave it away, so they just need to get a little bit more composure and make sure they find the right passes rather than rushing them. I noticed last time they played against Liverpool, they've gone back to kind of the man marking. They've gone away from kind of the zonal stuff as this ball. Simicast is about to cross it. He's teasing us, isn't he? About to cross it, but he changes his mind at the last minute, and he will now take that corner. It's a wicked delivery, and it's in the back of the net. It's as easy as that. Roberto Firmino, James Tavernier with an anxious look in his face, trying to conduct the post-mortem, find out where it went wrong. But for Liverpool, it very much went right. And Rangers, who have been criticised for conceding from set plays in Europe this season, have done it again. Cammy, there was nothing there was nothing to suggest Liverpool were looking dangerous. It is a corner. It goes. It's 3 yards out. 3 yards out, and Firmino, he just pins James Tavernier. He's just too strong. Does the Rangers skipper need to do better? 100%. Again, it's just weak from me, and I'm surprised at Tav that he's not wrestling him a bit more. He needs to try and be more aggressive. Get in front of him there. You can see the flight of the ball. It's coming short, and he's just allowed Firmino just to pin him and just flick it in from 3 yards. As you say, it's a poor goal to lose. Go on all night, and we will. We'll get the callers back on about golfs and finances and better players and all the rest of it. That's the bit where you've just got to compete, regardless of what the other guy earns or what he costs or where he's from. You just got to be strong. Got to hold him. That's down to desire for me. Also the setup. Sakala, I'm not sure why he's so far. He should be on Firmino's toes. He should be. There's not a short corner being played. He's in that front post area, because if the ball goes short, he's the first one out and someone from the edge. He's in no man's land. How does the ball get to Firmino without bypassing anyone else?
I mean,
the front area man.
Yeah, Sakala should be on his toes.
Yeah.
He's 5-6 yards ahead of the front post. That setup is wrong. He's doing nothing there. He can stop absolutely nothing.
How many times have we said this season that Rangers corner setups have been poor and they've cost them so much at vital times? And I think it's just organisation, communication, corners are, and as you say, desire. I think if Tav, he's probably looking for somebody to help him out there, but just desire, again, aggression, go and win that ball, make sure your man does not score, and there wasn't enough of that.
Speaking of desire and aggression, was it Goldson or Tavernier? Which one? I think Goldson. It was a brilliant challenge on Nunez, and Nunez is down
he'll be up in a minute.
He is suggesting that he's in a lot of pain, but we'll find out. Maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, good,
well, do you know what? To be fair,
they're moulds, Gordon. They're moulds.
They're moulds.
Come on,
he's got shin pads on, Gordon. Come on.
He should have
on the follow through.
They're moulds.
A bit of fairness. Come on,
they're moulds.
You're a Rangers fan and you're a hatchat man.
Yeah.
So
I'm studs as well. If it was studs,
you're not the best pair to analyse that.
Come on, he didn't go for the tackle. That's why he gets hurt.
I'm not saying it was crime of the century. I'm saying I can understand why he's in a bit of pain.
Why he's hurt. It was a very good tackle though as well.
Quick
really
limp.
Important tackle that was. Important.
But that's the second time I think the ball's been tried. They tried to play the ball into Lundstrom and he's been flat-footed. It's strange and it's early, but just keep an eye on him. He looks quite leggy in terms of his movement when Rangers have the ball. He doesn't seem to be, showing it like he was at the start, and that's the second or third time someone's trying to play the ball into him and he's been robbed.
In the first 15 minutes, Rangers was trying to turn them and play in behind them, and then, as you say, when they have gave the ball away, they're trying to play into that middle area of the pitch, and they're hurting themselves really by giving away possession there, because Liverpool then step on and confronting the Rangers goal. I think they just need to keep turning them and asking Kent and Sakala to get up the pitch and push them further up the pitch.
Yeah, and Carvalho's now coming in as well off the wings. He's playing a lot narrower now, trying to pick up the ball, and Tavernier doesn't know whether to go with him because Tsimikas is also then bombing down the line. So it's stick or twist. It's a difficult one. I think Sakala has to go in with Carvalho because he's going deeper and inside, and let Tavernier pick up Tsimikas who run onto him.
The nature of the goal conceded, though, like Rangers are very much in this game. They might go and win it. It might be okay, but if that Firmino goal plays a big part in this game getting away from Rangers, wow. I mean, what more do you say? There's no sophisticated analysis to take place, really, is there? Just be strong.
Yeah, be strong and get the setup right. They're two things. Like you said, that is a set play. Do not concede set plays. When you play against Rangers, you always say, don't concede a set play. If Liverpool opened them up, someone hits a top corner rather, you hold your hands up. But from a set play where your setup's wrong, that's not acceptable. And James Tavernier as a captain, get Sakala in. Yep. Scream at him, get in on his toes. Get on his toes and let me do behind. If it goes short, then you can go. But for him to be standing where he was, and I think that, if people are watching, they'll be able to see it at half time or whatever on the highlights later. He's in totally the wrong position.
Yeah, communication, aggression, organisation. You're expecting Alan McGregor again to be making sure you're playing. Normally you get, as a goalie, certainly when I was involved, that you would actually physically move the front post guy into the position they want, because a lot of them don't know where to stand. I think they should, because they'll do it in training. But yeah, listen, Rangers set pieces has cost them all season in big games, and again tonight it's hurt them. So there's got to be big question marks over what they're doing on the training ground as well.
Yeah, without being too unfair, I think you go way, 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 way below Champions League level. You maybe dip below even professional level, and you would still always see somebody in the front area at a corner. Take yourself down to a park at the weekend, you'll probably still see it. Just it's a sort of the done thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's the players in the wrong area. That is unforgivable. Like when you look back at that and you're analysing it and you look at that goal, you'd be like, you're just in the wrong area. I don't get it. I don't get what Sakala can stop there unless the ball's along the floor. As you saw, that the ball wasn't even that high. I don't think Tavernier and Firmino even jumped, which means to me that, come back 2 or 3 yards, get on his chest, make it difficult for him. And don't get me wrong, Tavernier should have done better behind him, but Sakala's definitely, his positioning for me was suspect in that.
And on the balance of play, performance level, call it what you will, it looks like the worst thing that could have happened to Rangers was scoring, Marvin. I thought I would say that, but they've been much worse since they scored. Yeah,
they're kind of on the back foot now. I think it was probably 50-50 up until then Liverpool scored, but now Liverpool just kind of up the ante a little bit, and hopefully that's gone for a goal kick so they can slow it down a bit. But they have to get back to getting on the ball, Gordon. They have to be brave, they have to pass, they have to take risks, they have to take the ball when people are close to them, because they're not going to open up the space now and behind them. And look, he goes underneath the ball.
Sakala takes 2 steps forward and actually gets caught underneath the flight of the ball. It's really, really poor defending. I think Tavernier can do much better in the position that he's in, but I wouldn't just blame him. Sakala's got a huge part to play in that one. He's got himself caught under the ball in the wrong position.
There is, and the word literally is overused, but there's literally no point in him being where he is there? Because
he's taking himself out of the game. Yeah,
you might as well go and stand up front.
Yep.
Because he's unable to affect it in any way, as we've just seen there with that low ball that's came in.
I still think Tav can do better. I think he can be much more aggressive and try and win that, and then give a rocket to Sakala and say, what are you doing out there?
Yeah.
Like, you've took yourself completely out of the game. You're not helping me. But it's a shocker.
I think Tav marking square with Firmino makes it a lot more difficult. I think if he's side on, he's able to either take Firmino under it and then back off and head it. But I think when you're that tight and the striker can hold you and your legs are basically in line with each other, you're in massive, massive trouble because you're unable to push off then. And that's what Firmino's done. He just backed off, bullied him a little bit and headed it into the back of the net.
So that's why he's here. Cutting edge defensive analysis. It's not all about scoring goals. It's about nudging people out the way when it comes to corner kicks.
Sliding them with your studs on and all that sort of stuff.
That's what Rangers did not do. So we've got a proper game on our hands though. That's the positive in terms of entertainment value. 31 minutes gone. Rangers won, Liverpool won.
Outside all that though, I think, every Rangers fan would have taken being level. I know the goals came at how it's come. If it's 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever it might be, 31 minutes in and you're level and you are in the game. Exactly. So listen, take the positives from it, but that was definitely avoidable, that goal.
Absolutely. Let's see how the remainder of the first half plays out. Don't forget, by the way, you are welcome to phone us whilst the game goes on. I get the challenges within that because you can't.
We just won't answer.
Come out from behind the couch if you can, and bear it, Rangers fans. But if you find yourself shouting at the TV, that's what Marvin and Cammy are here for. Think of them as human punch bags. So you can call and let them know what you're thinking as the game progresses. You can certainly do it at half time. You know that bit where you go for the kettle or something stronger? Why not give us a call then? And absolutely, it's not a hope, it's an expectation that you get in touch after full time and let us know how you saw the game, win, lose or draw. So it's a draw at the moment, 32 minutes gone. Rangers started brightly. Scott Arfield put them in front, a lovely low finish from the edge of the box. But unfortunately, what has been a bit of an Achilles heel for Rangers, set piece defending, very simple, good header in the end for Bobby Firmino, and it's Rangers 1, Liverpool 1. But are we experiencing the game's first sort of lull?
Yeah, just slowing down the tempo a little bit. I think, looking at that, Barisic is such an important outball for them. Firmino's so narrow. Nunes, even look at them, they look like a 4-4-2.
Yep.
So if Barisic can get it into him and Arfield can run off the back of Elliott, then they can start playing through the lines. I think the more they go down this side to Connor Goldson, put under pressure, and he's trying to kind of thread those balls forward, although Sakala flicks that one on well, so now he's Van Dijk the machines there and you end up having to cross it early.
Even that there's a simple ball there. It's not even a great pass as such for Rangers, but it's enough to worry Liverpool. They look much shakier, Cammy. They've had to put that out for a corner when actually no real pressure on.
Yeah, listen, they're asking the question. Rangers had a body, I think it was Kent maybe on this side, close enough to him to put him under pressure, and Liverpool probably are in this moment in time aren't wanting to take any risks defensively because they've been so poor, conceded so many goals recently, so they won't take any chances. But the last 5 minutes been much more positive from Rangers. Yeah,
Rangers turn to at the corner. It's one of the old training ground ones. It's just tapped back to Barisic, who then goes with the outswinging delivery. Didn't entirely work, but the pressure's still on. There's a great touch. Rangers are in the box, and unfortunately no takers. That was a nice touch. Who was that? Ryan Kent on the far side? No,
Lundstrom. Yeah, great touch from him.
Do you know what threw me off? He looked extremely quick, and you told me earlier his legs were struggling tonight.
I hope he doesn't hear that, man. He'll be giving me pelters for it. But no, listen, there's a
good
better spell now. Yeah, exactly. Don't let them out easily. But listen, they're out there pressing well. They're working hard. And they're a lot closer to them now. And again, see, press well from the top end. Defenders lock on. You turn the ball over.
And you go through these mini periods. Maybe Rangers have settled it again, Cammy. As soon as Rangers scored, they started making strange decisions.
Yep.
And Liverpool scored, and they looked ropey. They look like they've calmed down a little bit with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, they were making bad decisions, playing passes into congested areas and losing the ball where it was going to hurt them as well in their own half. The first 15 minutes they played the majority of football in Liverpool's half, and if they give away possession there, they've got a lot of time to recover. But they went through a period there where it was just passing into areas that they shouldn't have, and Liverpool were then attacking the Rangers goal. But just going back to Lundstrom's cross before, Cholak done brilliant. He attracted two of the centre backs towards the front post, and Lindstrom just dinked over towards the middle of the goal, and I think he was looking for a midfield run, and unfortunately Arfield wasn't there in that moment because it was a chance.
Good press though. Ryan Kent again out for a throw in. You know, when our teams don't do well, we always get, and we've had it tonight, we don't belong at the Champions League, and we're not a Champions League team. I wonder, do we have, producer Callum, do we have a sister station in Pilsen? I wonder how Victoria Pilsen fans feel. They're 4-0.
He's on there tonight.
I wonder where he was. They're 4-0 down at home to Bayern Munich after 35 minutes. So
oh wow, they're flying.
not a Champions League team, Victoria Pilsen. Sorry to say it. That's the way it works here. So
10 miles out of it.
Bayern Leverkusen 1, Porto 1. Good game that one. Spurs, incidentally, if you care about them. I know that's, you've been an Arsenal fan, you'll care. Marvin, they're 2-1 up against Rangers, old pals, Eintracht Frankfurt.
Brilliant Sakala there as well. Going at his man, making his man defend. There's definitely a ploy here from Rangers. As soon as that ball goes to the wide players, especially Kent on the left hand side, the midfielder on his side is trying to exploit off the back of Harvey Elliott, and it worked. Jack got in down that side, overran it a little bit, but Sakala does wonderfully well there, and this is the way you need to punish these teams.
It's not been a hugely confident start from Sakala, so even that, is that enough? You know, take on your man, and if you get a foul,
yeah, exactly. Build your way into the game. Listen, he's going to be so excited about playing in the Champions League. He's smiling at the best times, even Motherwell when you're scoring 3 goals.
Permanently excited.
Great ball.
Yeah, good ball, James Tavernier. It might fall edge of the box. Ryan Kent's going to have to go back out to his captain. Somebody's offside.
Yeah, they're offside. Again, for set play, that's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, really frustrating. It's wasteful.
It's terrible, actually.
Sakala in it. Goes too early again. But before,
you know why? He's excited.
Yeah,
Too
exactly.
excited.
That's why he's pressing the corner at the start. The ball isn't in play. He's trying to press the ball, and it gets kicked over his head. Firmino hits it in.
Too excited. That Bayer Leverkusen goal doesn't stand for whatever reason unknown to me, but Leverkusen 0, Porto 1 it remains. Any other scores that are interesting, I will tell you about them when we get the chance, but obviously all the focus on Ibrox. Rangers 1, Liverpool 1.
That's soft, ref.
Yeah, Cholak's penalised for
breathing
too much attention to the Liverpool defence.
This is the problem. Now I had to keep them wide. It's a 2v1, and it looks like Sakala's just trying to stay high, trying to play a game of cat and mouse, because Fabinho then can't come forward, and Henderson has to stay in.
It is incredible how quickly, due to a departure, as you say, inside Mane, and then a couple of injuries, Liverpool's wide threat diminished so quickly, hasn't it? When you think it was like the most effective wide unit in probably in world football for a couple of years there, and it doesn't look that potent anymore.
No, not at all. And as you said, Mane was a massive player for them. Not only when he performed, but regardless of you playing against Liverpool, you have to worry about Mane. Then you've got Salah on the other side. You know, both of them stretching it. Robertson flying forward, Trent flying forward, everyone full of confidence. But Rangers have, just talking about this game, Rangers have played their way back into this game very, very well for me. You know, they had the probably 5 or 10 minute bit of a wobble, and now they're definitely the better team again.
Tottenham 3, Eintracht Frankfurt
Gordon,
1.
give me some good news, please.
Son has got a double, and obviously Harry Kane got in there as well. Penalty for him. Probably gone down too easy in your mind, Marvin.
100%.
Yeah.
My other brother supports them as well, so it's
You're joking.
Yeah,
You're
Liverpool,
surrounded.
Arsenal,
How did that
Tottenham.
happen? Did you all just pick randomly?
Yeah, almost have different dads. I think our mum's been lying to us all this time.
I must admit, I didn't want to go there, so I left it nice and general, and you've
should we listen on the app as well?
You've just dropped that bombshell and turned it into an entirely different show altogether. I know I said we were getting you in for the late night version, but it's not quite what I had in mind.
Oh, okay.
And then I was going to say sorry, Mrs. Bartley. Now I don't even know if that's the right name. Let's just move
you're
on.
right. You're safe with
Let's
that.
just move on. Oh, I'm sweating here. Rangers making heavy weather of clearing the ball. Does your mum listen? Does she? On
She
the app?
listens to the app.
Does she have any idea of some of the Glaswegian colloquialisms that we hear sometimes?
She got no idea what's going on. No
Maybe
idea.
a good
at all.
education.
You know,
Last
the funny
night a
thing
guy
is-
came on and said, what was it he described someone as? I can't even remember the context. Someone was going down like a loaf of bread, he says. And no idea how a loaf of bread goes down. But
counter.
Rangers are 2-on-1 here, turning into a 2-on-2, and
the run's not great.
No, you think
the run's
Kent doesn't commit?
No, he doesn't do one thing or another. In that situation, listen, I was never an attacking player, but Kent has to make 2 runs, one for the defender and one for Cholak trying to pick him out. Look, his run's just straight.
Yeah.
So either goes in really tight now and then spins out to the back. He has to do something.
He can make Cholak's mind up. He can make his mind up for him if he makes the right run, and Cholak would have played it.
Does he look like he's as interested in the run as he should be? That's probably a poor choice of word. I'm sure mentally is, but like, it didn't. You know, sometimes when you're on the break, you see that moment of realisation where the player ups the pace quickly, and it didn't really seem to do that, Ryan Kent. It was all a sort of one-paced run.
They probably worked a lot harder in this half than they have probably all season, so maybe he's just feeling the effects of that. But no, you're definitely right. Normally on a counter-attack, you're normally trying to say wingers, you have to run back quickly. They're running forward at speed of knots, but then again he's got it one with Gomez.
It's become a bit stretched here. Ryan Kent goes on the outside, chops back more than we managed to see him do last week, and wins the corner. And do you know what, Cammy? That's all people wanted last week. We had the same old call, same old conversation. It's Liverpool, what more can you do? But you can, if you get the ball, you can at least try and commit someone.
Ask the question. That was just a ball, as I was saying, playing it, trying to stretch the game, playing it over the top from Connor Golson, and Kent takes a brilliant touch, but he's so positive, runs at the defender, checks back inside, tries to get a shot away, wins a corner.
Outswinger again from Barisic. It's a towering header away though. Luckily for Rangers, Harvey Elliott doesn't do particularly well with the next clearance, and he's not tracked Barisic either, but it's just going to keep coming back, and Rangers showing a bit more patience. Barca are 1-up on Inter, one of what seems like the 500 Dembeles who are very good at football.
Brilliant Sakala.
Really good from fashion. Sakala beats his man easily, cuts it back. What a block that is. Huge chance for Rangers. Sakala beats his man, all ends up, bursts down the right, cuts it back. And was it Arfield again?
Golson's injured now.
Was it Arfield again? That trademark late run into the box.
I think there was 3 of them there, wasn't it? I think Arfield, Tavernet was Arfield. I think it was Arfield,
and you have to say it's a terrific block from the Liverpool defence, but excellent from Sakala. That's why he's in the team.
Exactly, that's the confidence from the last one as well. Tsimikas brought him down last time. I mean, you couldn't touch him in. That's a booking if you bring him down. He picks a man out. We spoke about his quality earlier. People calling in saying, it's that final third, he picks his man out, and I feel so unlucky. But Golson looks like he's maybe... what's he done?
His thigh, maybe?
Because
that could be.
I was looking to see if it was a dead leg, but if there was some sort of collision, but I don't know if there was. And
that could be.
Yeah, that's great.
Go on then, Rangers Boffins. The last time Connor Goldson went off injured, or how many times has he ever gone off injured for Rangers?
I think he knows his cell. He's obviously he's doing the test for his potential, I would say, a strain in the thigh. Quad. So could be the end of the game for him. No,
he started well. He's done well. He's been in and around Nunes. He's been physical
with
well
him last week.
Yeah, exactly. He's been organising back there. That'd be a massive blow for Rangers if he's have to go off here. 3 minutes till half time. Cammy, do you think you try and say, can I get through it? And
Leila Bada didn't do it last night.
I think he'll know how serious it is and whether he's going to be able to continue or not. He's an experienced player, but it's a real disappointment off the back of that great chance. But going back to the chance, Sakala, phenomenal again, so positive, beats his man and then pulls it back. Cholak done brilliant, dragged 2 of the defenders to the front post, created that area again for the midfield runners, and Arfield got on the end of it. Yeah, I think he knows.
I am not a physio. I'm not a physio, but just looking at the incident, it has to be some sort of
muscle
pull, and hopefully nothing worse. But there's no impact whatsoever with Nunez.
They're doing it. Is that King?
Yeah, Leon King's going to come on. Well, you know what? Pass marks last week. Everyone said 18 years of age. How big an occasion is this?
Huge, and again it's a massive blow because Connor Golson's a leader for Rangers.
Yeah, you're not alongside him this time, you're replacing him.
Correct, and this is where Davis needs to step up as well, because they're 2 guys that haven't played a lot of football this season, getting thrown into a huge occasion here, and Connor Golson's absolutely devastated, but he knew straight away that he's overstretched kinda, and I think he's just maybe a little tear in his thigh there.
I mean, at a time, Marvin, when John Souttar's not available and Philippe Hilander's not available, and we've only just started seeing Ben Davies, he was the one constant. So tonight it's disappointing, but going forward, depending how serious that is.
Most definitely a massive player for Rangers, ever since he kind of stepped through the door there. And like I say, to lose him now to a thigh injury, that's normally 2 to 3 weeks minimum. So as he said, he could be struggling. If it's anything longer than that, you start to think he's not going to play again before the break. But a massive night now for Leon King. Hopefully for the next 5 minutes or however long's left of this first half, Tavernet keeps it tight. Don't worry about going forward. Let him play his way into the game. A young man who will hopefully take it in his stride. But a massive night for him. But opportunity comes now because Golson's injured.
Yep. And again, he's for me, hopefully. I'm not jinxing him, but he looks a young, composed young man. When he goes on, it doesn't look as if much phases him. He's a very, very good player. So hopefully, as you say, Marv, he can get these 2 or 3 minutes under his belt and see half time and get himself ready for the second half.
Yeah, I always think back to, I think, one of the first times or early on in his Super Scoreboard career when we had Andy Halliday on. He said Leon King was the one for him. From the academy players he'd worked with, he was the best, he was the one to look out for. Maybe we're starting to see that. And Marvin, it's obviously a blow, but sometimes that's just the way football works. And maybe Leon King comes in, makes the position his own, and
exactly
thrives on it.
Somebody gets an opportunity, whether it's someone retiring, somebody getting injured, somebody out of form, you have to be ready to take it, and I believe Leon King will be ready to take it. And he'll try and slot in there now, play his way into the game, as I just said, but it's this opportunity now. 2 or 3 weeks he might have a few games under his belt.
Bit of a delay because of that Goldson injury, so 3 minutes added on at the end of the first half. We've played about 40 seconds of those 3 minutes. I think the priority clearly becomes about settling at the back now after Connor Goldson's gone off. It looked like it was good pressure from Scott Arfield, but Joe Gomez comes away with it. Harvey Elliott's trying to create an angle, but Liverpool don't have that same wide threat as we've been discussing, but they are moving it quite quickly along the edge of Rangers' box now, and it's thrown in, and Alan McGregor catches, much to the relief of the fans behind the goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Take this thing out of the game. I don't know if Liverpool changed their shape to play 2 up front, or just Firmino can't be bothered to go back onto the right wing when they lose the ball. Probably the latter, but yeah, their shape looks very different. Carvalho's trying to come off of that wing and change it up a bit, obviously getting frustrated. He's wide, he's not getting the ball, but next 90 seconds for Rangers, see this half out, get in at half time, get some refreshments on board and go again in the second half.
I bow to the people who watch Liverpool more than I do. I'm on a snap game and a half judgment, and I'm allowed to be biased because he's the Scotland captain. Andy Robertson's a massive upgrade at left back, is he not?
Yes, Tsimikas has done right, but Robertson's for me, he's a top left back, isn't he? It's very difficult to be on the same level as him. He's a able deputy, but Robertson's fit. He's playing for me all day, every day at left back, and potentially could see him in this game for half an hour or so.
That could have been a big break for Liverpool. They broke forward with purpose. It was Leon King tried to bring it down in his chest, got it wrong, but eventually the pass was overcooked. So Liverpool's attacking. That's the
better ball. They're in trouble.
That's the frustration for Jurgen Klopp, or in a roundabout way, the frustration, for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Liverpool have not attacked well.
Yeah,
they're level because of the set piece.
Yeah, exactly, and it's 1-1. That is definitely going to be your worry. I think King tried to chest it to Tavernier there. They got a bit of cross wires, and all of a sudden you're defending. But yeah, a better ball there, and you're kind of 1-on-1 with McGregor at the angle. So
probably a pass you would expect a Liverpool player to be able to hit. In all honesty,
yeah, but thankfully they didn't.
Thankfully indeed for the Rangers defence. I think we're going to pretty much peter out here at the end of this first half. Can't see any time for anything major, although Liverpool do go long, but Nunez is nowhere near it, and Barisic is able to header, and referee's just having a little think about it, puts his whistle to his lips, and that is that. Let's go to Ibrox and get a half-time report from Gabriel.
It's 1-1 here at the interval. Scott Arfield's well-taken strike put fans in dreamland, but Roberto Firmino's close-range header brought them back down to earth. The place was rocking at kick-off, and Rangers started a lot brighter than they did last week. There were more in Liverpool's faces, harnessing the atmosphere and forcing the Reds to go long. Sakala and Kent had 2 efforts in the first 5 minutes, a sign of things to come. And in the 17th minute, it was lift-off on the night. Lift-off in the Champions League campaign. A well-worked move. The ball came into Antonio Cholak, who rolled it back to Ryan Jack. He fed Arfield in space, who took one touch and from the edge of the box finished it past Allison into the corner. Arfield saluted the bouncing Ibrox crowd, and you thought that they could keep going from there. Liverpool looked rattled. Minutes later, Joe Gomez rolled a ball short back to his goalkeeper, and Cholak couldn't quite poke it past Allison. However, in the 24th minute, there was such a cheap goal to give away. An in-swinging corner from Kostas Tsimikas. Roberto Firmino just got up ahead of Tavernier. He was stronger than him, held him off and headed in from less than 5 yards. Rangers got back into it. The pressure was on again. They had a few corners, a few counter-attacks that didn't quite materialise. And just before half-time, they had their best chance to retake the lead. Fashion Sakala beat his man on the outside, cut the ball back, and Arfield was there again, running onto it. It was a great defensive block. Just before the break as well, Connor Goldson, a rock for Rangers for over 4 years now, had to come off with a problem. Leon King, the teenager, coming on. Big second half for him. Rangers have been good here. They've had plenty runners off the back of a Liverpool side who are not at the races, it seems. The game is here for the Gers. They've got to keep up their intensity, take their chances, and keep that back door locked. Half-time here at Ibrox, 1-1.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
This is Rangers versus Liverpool. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time, Rangers 1, Liverpool 1 on the scoreboard. Cammy Bell, that is a scoreline Rangers fans would have taken before the game. I think that's safe to say. Will they be feeling good about themselves at the break?
Yeah, and again, they've played well in the first half. They've pressed well. They've created opportunities. They've been on the front foot. Arfield's took his goal very, very well. And for me, they've been the team that's been on top, the better team of the half. Liverpool is still threatened on occasions. I don't think they've hit the heights that they'll want to hit, so they'll probably come out the second half recharged, and Jurgen Klopp will be asking for a lot more from them. But yeah, it's been positive from Rangers. The disappointing fact is the conceded goal from a corner, which is really, really poor. You'd rather let Liverpool create something unbelievable that they couldn't stop. It goes in the top corner or whatever, but it's a gifted goal from Rangers.
I also wonder, Marvin, it feels a little bit like the injury to Connor Goldson's put up more of a dampener as well on the end of the half, the timing of it, and because of his importance.
Most definitely, but as a Rangers player, you have to be selfish and worry about Connor Goldson after the game. They can't afford to do that now. Definitely it's going to put a damper on it if you begin to think about it. Leon King's in there now. Get him right, get him in the right place on set plays, which they can do now because the substitution was quite rushed, so don't have a repeat of that. What I mean by that is a Firmino goal at the front post.
Yeah, we were getting the chance to see it back. Yeah. We did at the time. The Scott Arfield goal, it's funny because it's easy for us, we'll just laud what Scott Arfield did, but actually when you see that back, it's defensively shambolic from Liverpool. So down there, they're saying the same about the Rangers goal as we're saying about the Liverpool goal.
But at least Rangers opened them up. There's a bit of a good play, a bit of good passage. Kent does his job really well. Arfield makes a fantastic run, so it's a bit better. That there, come on, that isn't acceptable. Obviously, McGregor makes a mistake at first, and we've just seen it there. Obviously, pushes it off for a corner, but from there, you have to defend that a lot better. And you've just seen as well, it comes off Tavernier's head. So Sakala on his toes, and that is 1-0 now to Rangers at half time.
I guess the positives obviously would be level, Cammy.
Yep.
And that set piece is pretty much it in terms of what Liverpool have done in an attacking sense.
Yeah, Alan McGregor's not had a save to make. They've not even really penetrated the Rangers goal often. So it's been fairly comfortable for Rangers. As we say, we've got Connor Goldson going off and Leon King coming in, so we need to see how he settles into the game, because we know how big a player Connor Goldson is for Rangers, a leader. But it's an opportunity for Leon King. It's an opportunity for him to make his way. He'll been waiting for his opportunity. He wants this to happen. He wants to play for Rangers. He feels as if he's ready. And this is a huge stage for him to come on and play. But I think he is ready. But Rangers have got to be all positive about the first half, because they've done a lot of good stuff and put Liverpool under a lot of pressure.
We'll go back to Ibrox and find out if there are any changes at the break. The second half is next.
This is Rangers versus Liverpool. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Still half time at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Liverpool 1. Scott Arfield sent Rangers on their way, but a Bobby Firmino header pegged Liverpool back into the game. Let's find out if there are going to be any changes at the break, Gabriel.
No, Gordon, doesn't seem like there are going to be any changes just yet. Liverpool have come out first a few minutes before the game is to get back underway. Clearly they've had some words from Jurgen Klopp. James Tavernier leading his team out now. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any changes. Just in front of me there we had Mo Salah, Thiago Alcantara and Jota of Liverpool doing some short passes with each other. They've got plenty of firepower on the bench, but Rangers are keeping the same 11. They've just all come out on the park now, and they've just got to keep doing what they have been doing, Gordon. Just before the interval there, Ben Davies was having a go at Ryan Kent, saying get in behind Joe Gomez, signalling that you've got the beating of him, and that's where Rangers can really exploit the Liverpool fullbacks. They seem to have the beating of them here. You've just got to say that Leon King did come on for Conor Goldson before the interval. A huge second half for the teenager. He thinks he's ready. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst thinks he's ready, and we're going to find out if he is over the next 45 minutes. Fashion Sakala stands over the ball. The second half is about to get underway.
Super Scoreboard European football coverage with MoyerandSweeney.com. The top team for your defence.
So no changes at the break for Rangers. Maybe not entirely surprising. Marvin, are you surprised Liverpool haven't shuffled things?
Yeah, I'm extremely surprised. You know, you've got Jota on the bench, you have Thiago, you have Salah. I was surprised they didn't make the changes. You know, maybe Klopp said to them, you've got 10 minutes to change it, or, you know, I'll be bringing these players on. But yeah, from Rangers' point of view, not surprised at all. You know, leave these players out there. Probably look at around the 60-minute mark, though. You know, if a few boys getting heavy leg, they're pressing a lot, they're working very, very hard. But this first 50 minutes are absolutely crucial for them now. The
longer those players stay on the bench, the better. Cammy, that's sort of the way Rangers fans inside the stadium will be looking at it.
Yeah, definitely. And the way that the games went, Rangers have been fairly dominant in that first half and played some good stuff, created the best chances of the half as well. Just watching the highlights, and you've just, again, how big a chance Arfield's one again was. It got blocked. It was a fantastic block. But yeah, Rangers have been comfortable in this game. But as you say, that Liverpool have got some firepower on the bench, and I'm pretty sure we'll see that some point in the second half.
Fashion Sakala just leaves one on Liverpool's left back, and I think that is a foul.
Yeah, just hits him in the chest. Just at the start of that, though, I know it's the start of the half, but King comes wide to get the ball off McGregor, and he decides to go long, and it's a difficult one because then he's trying to get up and push up the line. I think he's got to play from the back again, like they did in the first half. I know it's the start of the second half, but start as you mean to go on.
Virgil van Dijk with it. He's had a fairly quiet evening. Don't think we've seen much of him either way. Even though he always has that sort of relaxed. Well, there we are. He's just
commentator's curse from you there, Gordon.
Well, no,
played it like I would.
He's just passed on straight to Rangers, but Liverpool do win it back, and that, I suppose, would be the annoying thing for the home fans, because it was a unforced error from Liverpool, but they do give it straight back. And a bit of fancy footwork down this left hand side. Liverpool looking confident here. There's Joe Gomez on the overlap, luckily for Rangers. I was going to say the pass isn't great. He did alright out of it, but Harvey Elliott's put it a touch behind him, Marvin, and that
final ball, yeah. And just watching that, Barisic comes far too narrow. Yeah. He's on Davis's toes. There's two of them marking one man. Pass the runner onto Davis, stay in your hole, and doesn't allow for that gap, because if a better pass there, again, they're getting a shot away on target. Again, look, he's come far too narrow, and he's backed up against Elliott. Yeah,
neat stuff from Liverpool at the edge of the box. Really neat, in fact. Elliott's shot is blocked in the end, though. So Liverpool looking lively. Not looking... and that's going to be a free kick. John Lundstrom chops down Harvey Elliott, who had got away from him and was bursting into the box. Elliott seems to have taken a sore one.
They'd have been prepared for this, though, Gordon, no doubt about it. Gio would have said at half time, yes, you've done well, but listen, they're going to get better. So be prepared for them to get a rollicking in there at half time, weather the storm for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then we go again. So they won't be, or they shouldn't be, surprised at the start that Liverpool made in this half.
Rangers fans listening will be pleased to know Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't playing, but also it's a bit wider than the one last week. It's the other side as well, incidentally, but I just mean from a shooting position.
I think he'll take the shot on here, but I think it would be take some free kick to beat Alan McGregor from that position. It's slightly too wide for me. But yeah, they've started the half well, Liverpool, and as Marv said, Rangers would have been expecting this because Jurgen Klopp obviously wasn't happy. He sent his team out early onto the pitch and made them get themselves prepared and ready for the second half, because I'm sure there was a few choice words said there in half time.
Yeah, Tsimikas and Jordan Henderson over it, so two very different potentials here for Rangers. I think the left back. Jeez.
Oh wow! All that build up.
Yeah, not great. Halfway into the stand behind Alan McGregor. Great if you're Rangers, by the way. I should say, just in terms of the quality of it, wasn't quite there.
Yeah, not very high at all. If I'm Alan McGregor, I'm telling those ball boys, just slow down. First 5 minutes, just slow down. Don't throw it onto me too quickly.
Oh no! No, don't you dare do that, because when other teams go to Ibrox and slow it down, we get battered with phone calls.
Oh really?
If Motherwell or Livy do it, come on, Marvin.
We have to
as
do
we
it.
teams
We
need to
have
stick
to do
together.
We normally hold a little ball in the dugout and roll it on just to slow the game down.
I've heard Livy are bad for that. Or should I say, I've heard one member of the Livy coaching staff is bad for that.
What have you got to do to win, Cammy? This is what I need to get. One-on-ones here. Taverner's gone round him, runs inside. Well done. That's a foul, ref. Jack's picked it up.
Yeah, so it's coming out to
just deliver. Yeah,
to
exactly.
James Tavernier is just going to wrap his foot around it, and he does.
Brilliant.
Go on.
Somehow Ryan Kent won the header against Liverpool's defence. I think they misjudged it, and it doesn't really come to much in the end. But it's,
all you're doing there is asking Liverpool to defend. They didn't do that at all last week, and look, it nearly felt a Rangers
they don't
player
look too comfortable at it.
No,
either,
they don't at all. And listen, the stats make it sure that they aren't comfortable with it. They conceded a lot of goals this season, so again, it's the right thing to do. Tav got the ball, decent ball in the box, asked the question. Liverpool didn't really deal with it very well, and fortunately for them, it felt a player that could clear it. But Rangers, they seem to have weathered that little bit of a storm that they had at the start of the half. Yeah,
Liverpool started the second half better than they did the first. Marvin, not sure that's not necessarily saying much. They weren't in it at the start of the first, but they've shown what they're capable of, albeit still missing that, maybe that cutting edge or that finishing touch.
Yep, I'm telling you, these midfield runners from Rangers are putting Liverpool in massive trouble. Jack on one side, on the right hand side for Rangers, Arfield on the other side, because Gomez now wants to get tight with Kent wherever he goes. So Kent's going short now to get the ball to feet from Barisic and then exploiting the space in behind. He needs to continue with that. Obviously, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson did a good number on John Lundstrom there, and Liverpool are into the box. Well, Lundstrom had to get it right.
Yeah, great recovery.
And he did. It's going to be a corner, I think, to Liverpool, and my goodness, Rangers need to defend it better.
Yeah, let's see the setup here. Surely at half time they would have had it out and shown the players, the analysts, whether it's the coach or set piece coach, whatever they have there, and shown them they're in the wrong position. That's actually a goal kick.
Probably it should have been a goal kick to Rangers. I always think maybe it's difficult sometimes when it's at that speed for the assistant.
Yeah,
we're critical, but maybe we should cut a little bit of.
Look at Sakala's position, and now you can see. Now he's dropped, what's that, probably 6 yards deeper than he was?
Yep.
Yeah, it's an outswinger this time as well. Changes things a bit. Lundstrom, and Jordan Henderson takes a nice fresh air swipe at it.
But as you say, if he's in that position, they don't concede the goal. Do not concede the goal.
You see that there? That looks like poor play from Fabinho. But see Rangers' shape.
Absolutely.
They're making him play the most difficult pass, and
still
listen,
a horrendous pass.
Yeah.
Both can be true.
I've hit worse, but yeah, you're right, Gordon.
Nicolo Barella has equalised for Inter Milan. Similar time, Portugal 2-up at Bayer Leverkusen. So goals going in round about the Champions League tonight. Still 4-0 up Bayern Munich away at Victoria Pilsen. And in the big one, the one that matters in this part of the world the most, Rangers 1, Liverpool 1:52 on the clock.
Brilliant. Steps in front, Kent presses Gomez. Well, Liverpool do get it back. Again, ref. Come on, this is why I can't play anymore, Cammy. What's going on?
That's why you can't. That's why you can't.
That's why you can't touch anyone.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with my legs going. It's nothing to do with the cut on the back of my head. None of those things.
The reason is
lack of ability. Can't touch anyone. I always had that though.
Well, who am I to argue? Liverpool come forward. It's a measured one from Firmino, and you have to say Ben Davies does really well.
Good defending, yeah. He follows him all the way right in his toes, and when he gets a shot away, he's only a yard away from it and blocks it, and McGregor picks it up nice and easy.
Yeah, that's great tracking.
Really good.
I'm going to do that snap judgment thing, right? That we would sort of criticise the callers for. The guy's clearly a wonderful talent, and he's young, and he's got a great career ahead of him, and all the rest of it. Nunez on recent game, he looks like he's got a good bit to go to become an out and out consistent, prolific Liverpool number 9, doesn't he?
Yeah, totally agree with you.
Now watch him go and score here, right? Don't blame me if he does.
No, I agree with you. For the money they paid for him, he does look like he's got a fair bit to go. And
here he goes.
There we are. There he goes.
Row P, I think, not quite row Z.
Keep him on. Yeah, but no, you're right. You spend that money on a player. Listen, there's always a bedding in period, a settling down period, the pressure of having that massive price tag on you. But looking at him, I know you want a little bit more. If you're a player that's trying to get your confidence up, do the simple things. Trying to shoot from 35 yards, and he's taking out a fan there in the crowd.
Has scored against Rangers, of course, in his time at Benfica. When Steven Gerrard's side came up against the Portuguese team, but he's in the red of Liverpool now, and it's Rangers 1, Liverpool 2. As quick as a flash is Bobby Firmino through the legs of Alan McGregor. It's a double for Firmino, a double for Liverpool, and Rangers are behind. Liverpool have looked blunt in attack, we've said it, but they switched to razor sharp mode fairly quickly there, Marvin.
Yeah.
And before Rangers could do much about it, it was in the back of the net.
Yeah, definitely. Ball comes in soon as plays it. Well, it actually goes straight out to Gomez. See here for me, King has to get body contact with Firmino. In this moment in time, he can do nothing. He's unable to stop. Listen, it's a fabulous ball. He has to go to his left at least a couple of yards because the space isn't going to score goals. He has to go. He has to pick his man up because the ball beats him. If he's with Firmino, he can at least get some sort of contact on him. He can at least try and put him off.
What is James Tavernier's part in that?
I think it happens too quickly.
Yeah,
I think it happens
so
far
he can't
too
get
quickly.
Across.
No, I think King has to stay with his man. He's in no man's land.
Maybe explain this to me, Cammy. You'll have seen that from the goal line before. Leon King looks at Firmino twice, maybe even 3 times. He's fully aware that he's there. What happens after that?
I think it's that last second that he just steps 2 yards away. But that's what I totally agree with Marv, that he just needs to, in that moment of time, that's where he just needs to stay as close to the man as he can. The space doesn't score the goal, the man does. And again, even if he is a yard away, he can make some sort of contact or even a challenge, but it's easy for him to put the ball in the back of the net for 5 yards there. But it was a quick transition from Liverpool, so I wouldn't really say Tavernier was kind of out of the frame of it.
And is that the one that for goalies then, when it goes through your legs from a shot, you look daft? But is it because your feet are set?
I think we've seen it before. You try and sweep the ball away, but that's only 5 yards out, and again the ball's past him. The paces took it past Alan McGregor before he can make a movement. But yeah, it's an unfortunate one. Some of the times you might be lucky and save that one, but I think it's far too close to him.
Right, so the game feels a bit different now, Marvin, because Ryan Jack's down. Rangers haven't created yet in the second half. They were pegged back in the first. Connor Goldsman off injured. They now trail. It feels like things are turning in a negative direction for Rangers a bit.
Yeah, but listen, there was always going to be a point in this game you have to weather the storm, and this is the storm right now, and they have to weather it. They can't afford for it to go to 3-1-4, and then you're totally out of the game. You're 2-1 down. Listen, deal with that. Next 5-10 minutes, then start playing your way back into the game. Fair play to Liverpool, by the way, and this is why Klopp's the top. I was like, Goldston on crutches as well.
Connor Goldston's on crutches on the touchline. Is that
cautionary? I would say.
Get
the weight off it while he's watching the game.
Ryan Jack's coming off.
Yes, the universal symbol for we need to make a change.
He's the only one, isn't he?
You know the one. Stephen Davis, I think.
Yeah.
Not a bad sub to bring on.
No, exactly. Liverpool made a tactical change though. Carvalho again is going so narrow, but what Rangers are doing is Tavernier's going inside with him. So when Rangers are attacking, Tavernier's going inside into a holding midfield position, and you see Tsimikas is trying to exploit that down the line. So Sakala's going to have to stay switched on. Or one of the centre midfielders, Offie Davis, coming on now, will probably plug that gap with Tavernier going so central.
So Rangers making a change, and it's another forced change. Ryan Jack's evening is over. He'll be replaced by Stephen Davis, just like Leon King replacing the injured Connor Goldston in the first half. So not good on the injury front for Rangers tonight. Any sort of indication as to what happened to Ryan Jack? Did I miss it?
I actually didn't see it.
He didn't even seem to be holding anything when he came off. Yeah, it was a strange one.
Not great, is it? He's not had a great time with injuries over the last couple of years. He seems to get a little run and then
stop starting it.
Yeah, exactly. Another injury comes. There's no doubt in his quality, but it's another one on the kind of injury list for Rangers, which is beginning to get longer and longer, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Problem.
So Rangers just need to try and regroup. They're a goal down. They've had 2 players off injured. They've not managed to really create much in the second half, which is now 13 minutes old. And Liverpool showed that despite being a bit off it tonight, you'd have to say, despite having changes, they can turn it on when needed. And Firmino has a double. Marvin.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, he's a reserve now. You know, that is still the level.
I know. He's on a little bit of a scoring run as well. But I just think, listen, the set play is definitely avoidable. I just think with that one there, it's a bit of naivety, and I hate to say it, I think if Connor Goldson's there, that goal doesn't actually go in. It's tough because a young man again. You know, was he playing for Rangers B, I think last season, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden he's playing in the Champions League against Liverpool. So it's a tough learning curve, but they just can't afford to concede again here.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I think he was sent Scotland under 21s against Northern Ireland. You know, it's been a steep couple of weeks.
Exactly.
And listen, it was a phenomenal ball into the box as well. It was good quality, but as you say, it is avoidable when you look at his position. And
Harvey Elliott with some tidy footwork, but an ambitious shot in the end goes straight at Alan McGregor.
Yeah, the defending now for Rangers getting a bit ragged. They're getting a bit all over the place and they're hanging legs in. In the first half they were moving their feet, they were getting body contact. Now they seem to be getting skipped past too easily. They need to, since 50 minutes into the second half, they need to get themselves going again.
Stephen Davis isn't actually on yet.
I hate when, do you know what, that's my pet hate with physios, and mine will probably be listening from Livingston. Leave the player on the floor until the substitute's ready. The referee will say get up, but you say, listen, I can't get them up at this moment in time.
You're
down to 10 men.
You're just like bending the rules where
but
possible.
You're down to 10 men in the chat. Oh, Henderson's down now, so it might be 10v10.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson's down, clutching his shin, so he feels he's taken a sore one. Stephen Davis is now on. Marvin will be pleased to know.
Yeah.
Ironic that you, who move at slow pace and are late for everything, and yet that your pet peeve is when people aren't ready to come on the pitch.
No, but the physio moves too quickly. You know the player's going to get subs. As soon as he goes on, Ryan Jack's probably said to him, listen, I need to come off. Say, right, have a drink, let me stretch something off. Exactly. And let's get Davis ready. Give him as long as you possibly can.
Jordan Henderson, I mean, there was a late challenge from John Lundstrom. I'm not really sure how it or where it ended up in that area of his leg that he was clutching, but
I think he was clutching anything, wasn't he?
At straws, perhaps.
Yep.
Still, Rangers 1, Liverpool 2 with an hour on the clock. We mentioned getting through these, kind of mini sections of the game, reaching the significant sections, and this would be one of them. Rangers certainly not out of this game. That's probably what they have to try, and it's great tracking back from Sakala as well. Maybe something you don't associate him with. Is that important, Cammy, that Rangers don't lose belief? There's half an hour to go and they're not out of this game. Yes, they're not in an ideal spot, but they're by no means gone.
No, absolutely not. And again, I think this period is really important because Liverpool are seeing quite a lot of the ball, probably the most they've seen it in the whole game. They'll have a little bit of confidence, so Rangers just need to keep their shape, concentration, don't give anything away, because this period will end at some point. Rangers will get the ball back and they need to be more clever with it when they do get a hold of it and make sure they're good on the ball. But yeah, it's all about concentration, shape here, and as you said, it was Sakala's work rate's been really good tonight, and you expect Rangers to probably make a couple of changes soon as well.
Alfredo Morelos time, perhaps. It's always the one you're going to look to, isn't it?
No, exactly, and I think you go with the two of them, don't you, with the current circumstances of the game. If you're 2-1 down, you might as well lose 3-1 and have both strikers on the pitch. He's unlucky with the ball there. Kent's making good run, so unlucky. Gomez just about gets the. But it seemed that Rangers, for the first 15 minutes of that half, didn't press nearly as high and as hard as they did in the first half. I wonder if they said, let's have another 15-minute rest, and in that time, let's not concede. Unfortunately, they have done. But I wonder if they're going to, switch it back on now and try and go back after them.
Yeah, good diagonal out from Leon King. It's intercepted, goes out for a Rangers throw. I don't know what the ref's spotted now. He's over to have a word with someone about something. A strange one. Where is he off to?
I know where he's going.
He's trying to get his steps in.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Getting his GPS up. Is there too many subs out?
Oh my. Is that a thing? So
surely they could.
He's saying he's running. Yeah.
There is an issue with where Thiago is warming up.
Too close to the line.
Oh my, this look rules are rules, but it looks a bit pedantic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because Thiago's now like arguing back, and they're having this big debate about who should stand where. Andy Robertson, for what it's worth, just finding it all amusing.
He's enjoying himself.
Who'd be a ref? Bad enough having to listen to people like him moaning at you without having to worry about whether the subs have one stud over a.
Surely that's why you've got a fourth official,
line.
no?
Yeah,
just pass that job on to him.
Not really seen that too often, I must admit, but there we go. Anyway, 63 got on. Rangers 1, Liverpool 2.
Tavernier needs to get wide. You've seen there that Lundstrom who turned the ball over, and look where Tavernier is. He's so narrow.
Narrow, yeah.
You know, we're talking about making defenders defend, getting the ball wide, one touch deliver, the quality that he has, and Barisic on the other side. I'll get Carvalho's in there. Make a midfielder do that. Make a midfielder, kind of pick that man up and make Carvalho defend. It's too easy for Liverpool right now.
Between that side of things and the first goal that Liverpool scored, could the Rangers captain be doing with a good half-hour finish to this match?
Yeah, they all could be because they're 2-1 down. But yeah, you're right. Lead by example. Like you said, the part you played definitely in the first goal for me, 100%. But I don't want to see him that narrow. Charlotte wants the ball in the box. Get wide, get on the right hand side, and get to Tavernier's feet.
That's good from Leon King. Just dropped in where he had to, put a bit of pressure on and forces Liverpool back the way. Rabi, Matondo and Morelos are out warming up. Darwin Núñez is in a race with Alan McGregor, who just puts it out for a throw-in. Tell you what, that is annoying me now. There are too many Liverpool subs out there. They're getting in the way, and they're wearing pink vests, which is a bit close to the red of the jerseys. I'm struggling to distinguish.
I agree.
It's like when you see an amateur game and the sub goes off and the ref tells him to turn his top inside out or something because he's standing at the side of the pitch.
Yeah, they're pressing a bit higher now. They are pressing a bit
Martinez has scored to put Inter Milan 2-1 up at the Nou Camp. So Barca 1, Inter 2. In that game, Porto, what a night they're having, 3-0 up away to Bayer Leverkusen. And Victoria Pilsen, maybe they do belong in the Champions League after all. They've pulled one back. And it's now 4-1 to Bayern Munich.
Here comes trouble, by the way, if you're a Rangers player. Salah, Thiago, and there was one more sub. It could have been Jota, all stripping off, ready to come on.
Yeah, that's not going to be a welcome sight, is it?
That's not what you want to see at all.
Not ideal, Cammy.
Definitely not.
Fanny van Bronckhorst.
But again, you expected it to happen in this half at some point. Liverpool, I don't think they've been that impressive.
Oh, it's Robertson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Robertson, sorry.
Not a bad trio to bring on.
Some bench you've got to turn to there.
That's normally the difference, isn't it? Like, you can kind of compete, like you're out there competing for 65 minutes. Like Carvalho's turned it over, he's 1-on-1.
Big chance, Núñez, and it's in the back of the net. It's Rangers 1, Liverpool 3. I told you he struggled in front of goal. It's the most composed he's looked over the two legs. I initially thought it was quite a tame effort, but he's obviously just got the right direction, angle on it, and it goes into the bottom corner.
Actually, and I don't want to criticise, but Alan McGregor's clearance here is terrible, and it goes straight to the Liverpool player, and then it just opens up from there. Rangers aren't set.
Oh yeah, all over
the lines all over the place.
Yeah,
but is that not because of the ropey clearance? When do you set that
Yeah,
line?
it is. But listen, the left back for me is the furthest one away from the ball, so he should be in line with the boys to the right hand side of him. He's 5-10 yards deeper, which then King is out of the game. You've got Davis out of the game. Lundstrom's trying to run back because your left side is far too deep. It can't happen. And that, listen, that's, I know it's, listen, at this level you have to do that. Have to get in line, and they didn't do it there. You've got no chances. The defensive players, look at this line.
I mean,
look.
He's onside. Firmino's got time to. He flicks it into Núñez's path with the. He puts one foot behind the other. He didn't need to do it at all. It's just a little bit of showboating, and it shows you the composure and the time these guys have. And Rangers have conceded before that change. Here comes Salah, Thiago, and Andy Robertson. And it's 3-1 to Liverpool.
Such a sloppy goal, Gordon. Honestly, that's such a sloppy goal. I'm sorry, Barisic has to. As soon as he gets in line with the other defenders, he has to stop, because he knows as soon as he drops deeper, the boys inside of him are in massive, massive trouble. And if he does that, Firmino's offside. I think so's Núñez. As soon as you drop like that, you're in
I'm just
trouble.
Anticipating. I'm not accusing. I'm anticipating the calls after the game. Can Alan McGregor do better with the actual shot as well as the clearance?
To be honest, I think I think the ball's past him. I know what you're saying. He doesn't stretch his arm out as if he's going for it. I think the ball's already past him. He knows the ball's beating him. You always kind of, probably as a fan, want to see him stretching his arm out, because you never know what can happen. But I think he'll be really disappointed with that clearance, because that's where it all stems from. A poor clearance, and it leaves Rangers open. But listen, Barisic as well, as Marv said, he's looking right across the line. He needs to be brave there and make that call that he's going to stand there and not expose the rest of his defenders. But again, a shocking goal for Rangers to lose.
Yes, it's. And now, Marvin, what does this become about? Can you get? I mean, you might as well try and do. Do you just go gung ho and throw caution to the wind and try and get back into it? Because even if it does finish 5, I mean, what, 4 or 5?
The confidence that gets really sucked out of you for that. Yeah, again, because it's so avoidable. I think at some point, listen, they're going to have to roll the dice and try and get 2 strikers on, potentially go to a back 3. But yeah, they're going to have to change it. We don't want to go too early into that, because like you said, the players that have came on now with fresh legs potentially could make it 4-5, 6-1, and that's not what you want. Their performance hasn't deserved that. Yes, they've been sloppy in a couple of defensive transitions, but they don't deserve that. Sakala does extremely well.
Sakala's done pretty well at times.
Very well.
He's been a bit raw in other areas, but he's done well there against Van Dijk, and a chance maybe Rangers get the next one. Obviously it changes things entirely.
He's been positive, Gordon. I think he's ran the channel well. He's listen, I agree with you. There's certain moments that he can do better, but he's only young. He's going to learn from it. I think he's been pretty good for Rangers tonight, and one of the positive sparks. But
there you go.
Go on.
Andy Robertson's come on, by the way. The Scotland captain is on for the opposition at Ibrox. Nice wee, not a trick, but a sneaky bit of trivia for you. Pub quiz question. When was the last time Andy Robertson played at Ibrox? Who was it for?
Queen's Park.
Dundee United.
Nope. Scotland played Georgia at Ibrox because something was on at Hampden. October 2014, just after he moved to Hull, and that game took place at Ibrox. So there we go.
There you go.
You'll sleep well tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you will sleep well. You've got a 5-hour journey back home, Cammy Bell.
You'll sleep well in the morning.
Honestly, the commitment to the cause for these guys, coming and putting in a late night shift, we appreciate it. I can't believe they're doing it for free as well. It's remarkable. But there we are. Andy Robertson back on the Ibrox surface tonight, again as an opposition player, obviously. And hold on, Salah's in here, and it's a save this time. Alan McGregor.
Was he onside again?
Unorthodox from the Rangers keeper. He just kind of had to jump up in the air.
Go on, Sakala.
Hold on, Sakala's in here.
Go on, just run.
He's in behind Virgil van Dijk.
He's I think Cholak's ran offside anyway, hasn't he? He's seen his handballed it.
He's seen handball,
but huge chance that Liverpool. It was, you talk about the subs coming on, what chance you got. Thiago, of all people, pulling the strings, clips one through to Salah. It was a golden chance. McGregor sort of just jumped in the air. I think he ended up spinning round as well. Doesn't matter, he kept it out.
Luck. Yeah, exactly.
He kept it out.
He kept it out of the net, and that's the important
thing. Cammy, did they
thing.
teach you that technique at goalie school?
Looked like he actually tried to turn his back, but no, listen, he'll take that, because that's a bit of luck. He needs another chance for
it. Wow. It's such a bad cross from Harvey Elliott that Andy Robertson might keep it in. No, he doesn't.
But yeah, again, it's a bit of luck that Alan McGregor needs after that probably mistake that led to the third goal. We'll see if it's a handball here. No, it hits his leg. No,
yeah. It was Konate went sliding in and put it back to Alisson, which was fine because it was obviously accidental. No hint of a.
In that situation, I would have liked to just seen Sakala kept going and trying to get across of Van Dijk, because he was getting towards the box, and then if you get your body across him, you never know, he could get a foul and trip for a penalty. But we've just seen the chance back that Alan McGregor saves. Yeah, a bit fortunate, but he'll take it.
Again, maybe for the best, Marvin. These things happen in football, but I mean, a fully confident Mo Salah last season, Mo Salah the season before scores that every day of the week.
Yeah, he leaves the goalkeeper with absolutely no chance. Like you said, not many one-on-ones he's missed in the last 4 or 5 years, but McGregor made himself big. Yes, it was unorthodox, but he kept it out. And look, Diego Jota now comes on the pitch.
Yeah, Firmino, 2 goals, 1 assist. See you later.
Yeah.
Do you take a rest, and we'll bring on Diego Jota. So yeah, I think now all the fit big hitters are on for Liverpool. There's obviously a few that they're without. Diaz and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Matip, but the fit ones, if you like, are all pretty much out there.
Yeah, and what's changed now for Rangers, we were talking about in the first half when they had the high line, they were able to squeeze the game. You now can't have that high line because Salah's playing up front. He's the main striker, and you're going to have Jota, in the hole, so it makes it a lot more difficult for Rangers, because one ball over the top and the foot race, you're not going to beat him in it. So Rangers have to change things tactically, but listen, hopefully they can get a goal in the next 5 or 10 minutes and then, make the remaining game an interesting bit.
Right. If he is trusted to start all the other Champions League games of the last couple, would you expect to see Morelos by 73 minutes on the clock when you're 3-1 down?
Most definitely. It's probably one of those things, as the manager's there and the coaching staff are saying, it looks like he's stripping off now, but you're saying if we can get a goal in the next couple of minutes, then we might not have to do two and swap him with Cholak rather than putting them on together. I think it's got to the point now, I expect them both to go on, but Scott Wright and Matondo
it
come
looks
on as well.
like Scott Wright and Matondo, so maybe and Alisson
gets away with it.
And then some manages to find Andy Robertson with the outside of his boot, but he tried to spin, and as he often does, take the ball into his feet and get away from the striker. And to be fair, he did it in the end. But
he gets lucky though, doesn't he? Cholak, again, good pressing, shows he's still got a lot of energy in him. But I expect some of those subs, Gordon, he's probably going to be one to come off, isn't he? You're not going to be able to play those three plus him.
Here comes Jota as it opens up a little bit for Liverpool. Mo Salah, who'll arrive. Andy Robertson, but Salah. Oh, it's not Salah, is it? Is it Carvalho?
Yeah. That could be a ref. No foul.
Free kick, surely.
You've changed. Oh, Harvey Elliott curls one over the bar.
That had to be a free kick.
10 minutes ago, you're talking about how tackling's a dying art, and you'd love to be able to still kick people.
That was a foul, though, Gordon.
Yeah, it's a foul all day, Gordon.
I know. No, I agree. He's just a hypocrite. That's all.
I learned that in my refereeing course.
Here's the triple change for Rangers: Scott Wright, Rabbi Matondo, and Alfredo Morelos coming on. So will it be front three for front three, or maybe something a bit more adventurous?
You'd like to see something more adventurous, wouldn't you? Last 15 minutes.
Surely, can one of Cholak or Kent stay on? They will.
I think one of them has to. Yeah. I don't know how. But, no.
Salah's into the box and it's in the back of the net. It's Rangers 1, Liverpool 4. He had one earlier on that he should have scored. He was obviously just getting his sights lined up, and this one he pokes beyond Alan McGregor, and this now could turn ugly for Rangers. It's Rangers 1, Liverpool 4. The scoreboard hasn't changed yet, but I don't think that's necessarily an indication that there's anything untoward. It's just a 50-50 on the edge of the box. It spins in to Salah, and it's just deadly, isn't it? But I mean, Rangers, can they do more?
Yeah, you're unlucky because it spins and it goes to Salah. But I mean, what is he, 6-7 yards out from goal with a free shot at it? Something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
The toe poke's a dying art, Cammy.
Yeah, listen, it's such a difficult shot to save because he hits it so fast, and I think Ben Davies can maybe get out there faster and just go and engage the ball, and again he's probably wary of giving away a penalty or anything, approaching him too fast. But I just think when he sees him that close to goal, you've just got to go and engage him.
Oh, it is the front
and
three.
It is the front three.
You've called it.
Well, right, look, the game's definitely gone, but the decision for that substitution was made before the goal.
Yeah.
Can you not at least, right, with 15 minutes gone in a Champions League game, when you're trailing like that, can you not leave Cholak and Morelos, or at least bring Wright and Matondo on, but maybe leave Kent there, and then he goes off the front and it's just something a bit different?
Yeah, for me, I would have left Cholak on and just to occupy Liverpool further up the pitch. You could play a bit more direct to them, and as you see, a lot of the Rangers fans are leaving early. Game's over, they'll be disappointed with the goals they've lost. The goals they've lost have been really, really poor tonight. It's not as if Liverpool have had to play at their best, and Rangers have had big periods of this game. They'll be so disappointed with this result.
I wonder if they've made that
said. There's not been much in the second half. Let's be honest.
No, they've not played the way they had in the first half. But again, I wouldn't say Alan McGregor said that one save where he turned his back. Liverpool haven't been peppering the goal. They've been better than Rangers, of course they have, in the second half, but the goals they've lost are very avoidable.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I meant more in terms of chance creation for Rangers.
Yeah,
but that's why you have to leave two strikers on, surely. Like you're saying, I wonder if, in the back of Gio's mind, he didn't want to go to 4 and 5-1. So at 3-1, he's making those changes to freshen it up at the top end. But you have to go for it. Like you said, is it worth showing the fans this? And we've gone for this, we've gone with two strikers, and we've lost 4 or 5-1. Is it more acceptable then?
I don't think it's hugely drastic, is it? Even if you do want to bring Matondo and Wright on, can you leave Kent then as your your advanced central one, give him a bit of a free roll for 15 minutes. I mean, it's not. Would that be hugely drastic? You know, in a game where, you know, probably Scott Arfield will have run his race by now.
Yeah, he's covered a lot of ground.
But anyway, James Milner is going to come on. Speaking of experienced players who cover a lot of ground, he would be the prime example. Always famous as being the sort of super fit member of the Liverpool team. And is he going in at centre half? Is he?
Yeah, that would be I wonder who could drop back in.
No. Gomez will go in and
Milner go
Milner
right back.
to right back.
Get that ball to whoever's down that side. Is it Scott Wright will be down there now, won't he? Matondo will be on the right. Just feed it. Not being funny, but you got to feed the left winger. You have to.
You're not having James Milner?
I am. But, you know, was he 37 now, maybe?
Same age as you.
Yeah.
And he's out there and you're
in here. He'd rather be in here, most definitely.
The pizza was good.
Yeah, exactly.
And I saw you eventually, you went for the box.
Yeah, it was nice. Extra large pizza. No, very nice. But no, listen, you've got to feed the ball down that side and make him defend, most definitely.
Now, you know, that's not happened yet, has it? So, well, yeah, I think it's a... Yeah, it has. So, Gomez into centre-back, James Milner at right-back for Liverpool. They do press it and win it back, Rangers, but Liverpool then do the same, and Rangers have to watch this doesn't get proper ugly. Luckily for them, that's heavy, and the pass goes out of play.
I just think that 15-minute spell, Gordon, I know it's very, very difficult to keep the energy levels up that they had in the first half. That 15-minute spell at the start of the second half where they kind of stepped off it, I don't think they've recovered and been able to go again. So it's, and Salah looks like he's in again.
Yeah, Rangers do have men back this time, but he somehow finds the corner. It's an outrageous finish from Mo Salah, and it's Rangers 1, Liverpool 5. No backlift, surrounded by Rangers defenders, and he somehow almost flicks the ball beyond Alan McGregor from the edge of the box, not even smiling. He's doing that nonchalant thing that strikers do. But to an extent, Rangers are architects of their own downfall again. It's a poor clearance, and wow. You have to get
close to him. I mean, he's on the edge of the box. Is that Davis gets him into good position, and then he gives him two yards. At this level, you can't do it on his left foot. Get tight.
Davies and Davis and King are all sort of there.
Yeah.
And it's 5-1, Cammy. We're probably in ugly territory, and I hate to say it, there's time for this to get worse.
Yeah,
Alan McGregor, can he do more?
I think he's maybe got his positioning slightly wrong. When I look at it there, I think he's came advanced towards the ball, so it gives him less time to react to it, because it ends up probably about a shot from 18 yards. Alan McGregor's on his 6-yard line when it goes past him. I think if he dropped off a yard or two, then he's got a chance of saving it. I think he's slightly over to his right hand side of his goal as well. So yeah, maybe look at it and think he could have done better.
I knew Rangers shouldn't have scored early, Marvin. It's the worst thing they've done.
Them.
I think Marv's right though. I think the first 15 minutes of this half has set the tone for Rangers, and
what a touch from
they've
Jota.
They've not recovered. This could end up
Salah's on a hat-trick already, and he gets it. Rangers 1, Liverpool 6. Liverpool scoring every single time they go forward. Mo Salah has been on the pitch for a matter of minutes, and he's got a Champions League hat-trick at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Liverpool 6, and 10 minutes to go.
There's one thing you do, and listen, fantastic finish. And from a defensive point of view, there's one thing you do when he gets that ball to his feet, and that is not allow him any sight on his left foot. I know that there's a runner going down the outside. That ball has to go down the outside. He's inside the box. Again, it's difficult because you're 2v1, but you cannot.
You've got to engage him. You can't
has to go
just
down the line
have a free shot.
It has to play that outside of you to Elliott. He has to roll him in, and then you sort out the defending from there.
So that's exactly what I say. Is that when I was a goalkeeper, I would always say make them play the extra pass. We've got a chance of getting bodies back, or you've got a chance of recovering. But Barisic has just dropped off, and give him the exact angle that he wants to shape it round his body into the far corner. It's another gift, a shocker.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that knowing what Mo Salah's about to do there is not the same as stopping him, right? Because you see top left back struggle with that, so 100%. Fine, and we acknowledge that. At the same time, Borna Barisic does get accused on this show from Rangers fans at times of doing exactly that. Sometimes when he is against an opponent that is coming towards him, he backs off until can't really do much about it. And again, look, it's Mo Salah. We get it, but come on.
It is the elite, but you're in your box. That cannot happen. I think that's 2 goals maybe. Barisic, I think, should have done better. The player has to go down the line, as Cammy says, play the extra pass. Then people are able to recover. They can get tight in the middle, but in your own box, sitting off people. Now Liverpool playing at will. 6-1 after. By the way, a good first 45 minutes from Rangers. And we're talking about the goal that they've conceded was a poor set play. Now they're 6-1 down. How it turned into this is unbelievable. And listen, the fans are going to be angry and rightfully so.
Again, going back to that goal, I just think he's got to see if he beats him. See if Mo Salah takes him on and beats him. Absolutely fine. You can hold your hands up, but you've just allowed that goal to happen. You've not engaged him. You've took the easy option out for me. I think Barisic is just dropping off. He doesn't want to get blamed for getting beat by Salah, or it's becoming embarrassing this last 20 minutes here.
Yeah, and then some Rangers fans, don't forget, I can see some already phoning in. Get in touch after the game and let us know how you are feeling. It's been quite a sobering second half, that's for sure. Mo Salah on not too long ago, and he's got himself a hat-trick already. Incredible. Brilliant from him, poor from Rangers. A bad combination. If you're a member of the home audience tonight, or you're Giovanni van Bronckhorst or one of the Rangers players out there, really tough, really tough end to this game, because with 6 minutes to go, the frequency with which Rangers have conceded recently, Marvin, 6 is rubbish anyway, but it can actually still get worse.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it did get worse. Again, we're talking about the elite. When we're talking about the Celtic game at the top end, you have to defend better than they have for some of these goals, and that would be the most disappointing thing. When they look over this game tomorrow, there'll be so many goals, or 2 or 3 goals, that are so far from avoidable. You have to avoid letting them in the Champions League. The first thing that people would say, Salah in the box, get tight to him, don't let him on his left foot, let him run down the line, let him play the extra pass, as Cammy said, don't let him do what he did there. The set play in the first half, these things are so avoidable. Barisic dropping far too deep, and then Núñez is flicking it around corners, or Firmino. These are 3 out of the 6 goals that are so avoidable. And as I said, their first 45-minute performance didn't warrant this.
It's everything you fear can happen, Marvin, because Liverpool's, and I'm being a bit flippant, reserves, right? I accept, still very good players. They had this game won, and then they brought on the big hitters. So that's where it can become embarrassing, and has on the scoreboard. Most
definitely, as you said, Liverpool are 10th in the league at this moment in time. We were talking about how fragile their confidence was. We were talking about when they came out at Ibrox, 3 of them looked like they had frozen. You talk about how well Rangers have done in the first half, the pressing, getting tight to them, turning the ball over, making Liverpool defend. And all of a sudden, in the 85th minute, we're talking about Liverpool being 6-1 up without really going into top gear. I wouldn't say they've gone into top gear today. And that for me would be the most worrying thing. They haven't had to hit top gear, probably haven't had to hit 4th gear to do what they've done to Rangers today. And that for me would be a massive worry, for anyone associated with Rangers Football Club.
I think it is a worry. It's the collapse that's happened in such a short space of time, and we know they're playing against top quality footballers, but they've made it easy for them. That's what happens when you gift teams like Liverpool goals. They're going to punish you and make it easy if you back off Salah and let him shoot. Oh, here's another one.
It's a big save, Alan McGregor, but it's in the back of the net. The offside flag is up.
Saves them.
The only saving grace is not 7, when it probably should have been, because it was actually a really easy chance in the middle of the box there for Liverpool. Was it Salah again?
I'm not sure who missed the first chance.
It's actually a really simple chance.
He should put in the back of the net. McGregor makes the save.
Carvalho starts it, Thiago slides one to Salah, who's possibly just on, squared to Jota. He's still on, I think.
I think Salah might be off, Gordon. I think.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he maybe just.
Do you get to look at that again? How does that work?
So
I think he's onside there.
So how does that work with VAR? Yes,
they'll check it. The balls hit the net before they've stopped the game.
So this might be 7.
Salah looked onside, if that's the one they're calling.
Very close. I've given up trying to call them, because how can you without the lines? And by the way, in case you hadn't heard, VAR coming to Scottish football next week. Looking forward to that, are we all?
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Conversation for another night. Mo Salah hugs Harvey Elliott in anticipation. They're waiting to find out if he's got the good news he wants. Rangers fans clearly feel the opposite. The Liverpool players feel like they look like
they seem confident.
They seem confident this is going to stand.
Almost looks like a training game that they're playing here with the smiles on their faces. But yeah,
do we not get to see it then? Is that not the way this works? I've lost track with the old VAR. Do we not? Oh, it's an automated system now, isn't it? Do they do the old artificial intelligence type thing?
Yeah, waiting for that to come on. Saying it's a goal.
Referee blows the whistle.
It's a goal.
And it's a goal. Rangers 1, Liverpool 7. Brackets SEVEN, close brackets. That's when you know, when that goes up on the video printer. Confidence crisis, out of form. What crisis? Jurgen Klopp's on the bench having a chuckle to himself. 7-1 up at Ibrox.
Yeah, he's on side. You can see Tavernier's playing him on side, I think. And then that one again. Yeah, for me it is a goal.
Marvin, not ideal when we've got the open line for another hour after this, but it's becoming a sort of speechless type scenario from a Rangers perspective.
This is an absolute collapse. It's an absolute collapse. 7-1
at home.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing. It is.
Yeah, it's. I can't even put into words how angry the manager and the players and the fans will be with this performance, because first 45 minutes, pass marks, more than pass marks, brilliant, pats on the back, well done. 7-1 to come out in the second half and concede 6 goals. And by the way, as players, if you concede 3 and it goes to 4, you say we're not conceding any more goals. We won't attack, but we're not conceding any more. We're not getting embarrassed. Exactly, to not concede. And yet they've gone on and like you said, it's 7-1. And Cammy, our predictions, I think we're done with that, really. Predictions for me and you are not acceptable.
2 each, and
I said 7-1.
But it'll be interesting after the game.
Who's been booked here? Alfredo Morelos?
No, he got fouled. He got fouled.
Sorry.
Yeah, he done well, to be fair. Stole the ball off him. But it'll be interesting to see what the Rangers fans' reactions are towards the players, the manager. Does the manager feel any pressure from a big defeat like this?
In the stadium, I'm not sure there's going to be too many left to be angry.
No, but I know, like on the backlash of this.
On the open line, we'll find out. That's why we're here. So that when the big moments happen, whether it's a good moment or a bad moment, we're here to find out how the Rangers fans feel. Someone somewhere will possibly have beaten this before, but I just wonder if this is close to some sort of record.
I wonder if they're checking this for a red card. See if he was the last man.
No, not in terms of the defeat. In terms of
they aren't playing.
Mo Salah comes on and has a hat-trick within 13 minutes.
Is that all it was?
13 minutes, yeah.
I would like to know when Rangers last conceded 7 goals at Ibrox as well. I mean, that would be possibly many moons ago.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where to begin.
Minutes.
I think so.
He was out of sorts as well, you were saying before.
Yeah, he would have 5. He would have 5 if he was confident. No, that's the way to look at it.
That's true. Thanks, Gordon.
Yeah, on in the 68th, and by the 81st they had his hat-trick. So
incredible.
Wow, it's not bad.
And by the way, the referee's done them a turn there, hasn't he? With the substitutions that have happened, with the 6 goals that have gone in, there's a minute added on.
Yeah,
he's just
referees always do that.
No, sorry.
I've begged referees at times, to be honest, to just stop the game, please.
1 minute added on at the end of that, and that's pretty much it. Borna Barisic is like, I'm not even going to take this corner.
He's trying to waste
He's got
time.
Ref going to blow the whistle before I get the chance to take this corner. He is as well. Right, it comes in. Is there a late goal for Rangers in any way? It's fired Ben Davies. The ref's running above his 1 minute. Is he just blow the whistle, ref? It's all over. Let's go to Ibrox. Gabriel.
Full time here in Govan, and it is Rangers 1, Liverpool 7. A complete embarrassment for the Gers in the Champions League. Scott Arfield's well taken strike put fans in dreamland in the first half, but Roberto Firmino inspired the comeback, and Mohamed Salah hit a sensational 6-minute hat-trick to ensure Liverpool will leave Ibrox with all 3 points. This place was rocking at kick-off. Rangers started a lot brighter than they did last week. They were in Liverpool's face, harnessed the atmosphere. In the 17th minute they had lift-off. Scott Arfield finding the ball in space on the edge of the box and burying it past Alisson in the Liverpool goal. Liverpool were rattled. This place was bouncing, but it didn't last long. In the 24th minute, such a cheap goal to give away. Roberto Firmino flicking in from a corner at the near post. James Tavernier and Fashion Sakala just couldn't contest with him. and it was 1-1 at half-time. The game in the balance. Rangers felt they could get something here, but after the interval, Liverpool started the brighter and Rangers' level had dropped quite significantly. 10 minutes into the second half, Bobby Firmino swept in his second. Joe Gomez finding him in the box. He'd run off Liam King and he tapped it in. Rangers looked ragged and Liverpool were in complete control. Darwin Núñez put the game out of Rangers' reach in the 66th minute. A poor clearance from Alan McGregor. The ball popped back into Firmino, who laid it off to Núñez with a fancy flick. Núñez from the left edge of the box, curling it past McGregor, and then the floodgates opened. Mo Salah came on, scored within a few minutes. First of all, he trapped the ball on the right and toe poked it into the net. He got his second in the 80th, surrounded by several Rangers players, but none of them went to tackle him. It was an outrageous finish nonetheless. No backlift from the edge of the box, and it just went inside the post, and he completed his 6-minute hat-trick just 60 seconds later, curling the ball inside the far post. Trademark Salah. Harvey Elliott volleyed in to cap off the night after a VAR approved strike. Liverpool showed their world-class attacking ability in the second half, but they didn't even have to hit the heights to rack up 7 goals here. It started so brightly for Rangers but ended in complete disaster. It's a catastrophe, an embarrassment for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and his side. They're rock bottom of the group with no points after 4 games. They've got a minus 15 goal difference, and they've just taken a big slap in the face from the European elite of Liverpool. Full time here at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Liverpool 7.
Rangers 1, Liverpool 7. It is an astonishing scoreline. How do you feel about that, Rangers fans? Yes, we accept all the stuff you hear about the Champions League and facing good sides and all the rest of it, but my goodness, 7. There was a lot of optimism on the phones before the game from Rangers fans. There was a lot of optimism at half time with the game poised, but 6 second half goals. Mo Salah scored a hat-trick in 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Just in case you think your radio's malfunctioning, that was 6 minutes and 12 seconds for Salah to score a hat-trick. Astonishing ruthlessness from Liverpool and an astonishing capitulation from Rangers. So how would you sum that up, Rangers fans? 0141 951 1025. That's why we made the commitment to be here late on these big Champions League nights, so that we could share hopefully the celebrations for you Celtic and Rangers fans, but we have to wallow in the bad stuff as well when it comes around. And my goodness, Cammy Bell, that was the bad stuff.
Yeah, I'm still in a little bit of disbelief of what happened in the second half after such a positive and good first half from Rangers. Really good on the front foot, the better team in the first half, and then for that to happen is just incredible. Really, I would say, like to say, unprofessional in some ways of the goals they conceded, and the players will be hugely disappointed and hurt from that, because it became quite embarrassing, the goals they started to concede towards the end. But so many of them you could go through and their errors. Liverpool are a very, very good team, and you've seen the subs they brought on, the phenomenal quality, but Rangers gifted them goals, and that's what will happen when Rangers gift goals to a team like Liverpool. You get absolutely battered.
Defeat to Liverpool's acceptable, Marvin. 7-1 is not. That would be my guess at how the Rangers fans will react, although we are about to find out. But you wouldn't expect it to vary too much from that. No,
it's exactly that. And you know, Cammy's described it perfectly there. When you play against these teams in the Champions League, you have to be defensively sound, and I thought in the second half Rangers were defensively abysmal. And you can't do that. You can't do that with Salah on the pitch. You can't do that with Firmino, Jota and those sorts of players on the pitch. You can't defend like that with, you know, he's out of confidence, Salah, but his left foot, you're opening up the goal for him. You're allowing him 3 shots on goal. It's far from acceptable. And the word for me is embarrassment. The players will be embarrassed by that, no doubt about it. 4 games they've played, minus 15 goal difference.
01419511025. The phone lines are lighting up. I can see it already, Rangers fans. It's understandable. Just how do you sum all that up? We could try and go through all the goals, but that might take a while, so just give us your overall assessment, sum it up for us. And the great thing, well, great interesting use of that word, not sure you want to hear it, some Rangers fans, but we should have time, Cammy, to hear from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, because he's got questions to answer as well, I'm sure. And the Rangers fans who are at home or getting into the cars, they've got us until 11 o'clock and maybe hear from the manager during that time.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what his take is on that second half, the collapse and why it's happened. Marv touched on it, that the first 15 minutes were important and they didn't really recover from that. I would have understood that if they had their foot off the gas and they were wanting to keep it tight the first 15 minutes, but they just didn't approach the second half the way they approached the first half. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Gio takes of it, if he puts any of the blame on the players, because I think a lot of the blame does lie with the players and individual errors, poor performances in the second half, and yeah, lack of responsibility. Go and make that tackle, go and make sure that they don't score that goal, make it difficult for Liverpool, but they made it easy, and that's why it ended up 7-1.
Come on down then, 01419511025 or Twitter at Clyde SSB. We're looking back on a painful night for Rangers for sure. Certainly a painful second half. Mo Salah and co running riot, and they didn't even start the match. So Rangers fans, how do you feel? That's all I've got for you. That's the only question you need to answer. 01419511025. We'll speak to you next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Volvo. The Volvo new car sale event starts on September 12th. You can get 0% APR conditional sale on a Volvo mild hybrid SUV. Taggart's, part of the Lookers family. Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Volvo. Visit Volvo Glasgow for the Volvo new car sale event from the 12th to the 26th of September. Buy selected new Volvos and get your first 3 services for only $399. This is Rangers versus Liverpool. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
What a night at Ibrox, but not in a good sense for the Rangers fans. It finished Rangers 1, Liverpool 7, and for the next hour we're going to try our best to look at where it went wrong. 01419511025. Let's not hang about Andrew in shots. How does it feel to be a Rangers fan after that?
Aye, absolutely terrible. Just feel like telling them they should walk tomorrow, but it's not right to let a manager go halfway through the season. What Rangers manager can come back after that? It's impossible, mate.
Seriously, is it that bad, Andrew? Because obviously I know it's a terrible result, don't get me wrong, but because of the level of opposition and so on, is it that bad? Do you think, is that an unforgivable result?
Kent needs to go. Basically, who can come back for that? There's no Rangers manager that can come back for that. But you can't get rid of a manager at the start of the season, really.
Well, I mean, you can. And we're not at the start. We're in October. But whether that's, I don't know. Is it that bad?
Yeah, well, it's an embarrassing defeat. As I said before, I would like to know when the last time Rangers conceded 7 goals at Ibrox. We spoke about the atmosphere, the fans that would play their part in it, but the players didn't play their part in it tonight. They did the first half. They were very, very good, so we need to give them credit for that. But to collapse like that in the second half, it is embarrassing. There's no getting away from that. If Giovanni Van Bronckhorst doesn't come out and say that's embarrassing, I'll be shocked. Because he's got to be open and honest about that second half performance. It just isn't good enough for Rangers Football Club. Yeah, see, listen, if Rangers don't think he's the man to take Rangers forward, then they move on from him. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but they need to look long term.
Is it fair to ask those questions tonight, or is that a reactionary thing straight after full time?
I think tonight it's a difficult one. I think, tempers and kind of your emotions and everything else will be extremely high. As Cammy said there, they'll be embarrassed. Everyone will be embarrassed by that. Players, manager, everybody else, fans. So it's a difficult thing to do. It's tough because we're looking at the league table during a break and they're a couple of points behind Celtic, but that performance in the second half, as good as they were in the first half, they were as bad in the second half. So it's a tough one. I think you have to listen. I don't want to ever talk about managing. I just don't think it's the right time for them to be trying to change manager, if I'm honest, on the back of just one defeat like this.
Let's fly through a couple of opinions quickly and see, take the temperature if you like. Billy's also a Rangers fan in Springburn. What words would you use to sum that up tonight, Billy?
I'm not taking away further for Liverpool, but it was actually a joke. And I think Van Bronckhorst should go. Well, no get better. But left back can't go forward, can't be brave. Kent's just not interested. I don't even know why he's even getting a game. The defence, no tackle anybody. It was actually embarrassing. I mean, and I hate to say that about my team, but the manager needs to go because he's sitting watching it, putting the players out there. He can't pass a ball forward. Kent doesn't want the ball. He's sitting watching that for 3 quarters of the game before he makes a change. I mean, it's actually embarrassing. He needs to go. And no manager can come back to a 7-1 defeat against in Europe. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. If I think that's Rangers' class as a manager, it shouldn't be at Rangers' minds.
Even if it's against a team of Liverpool's stature in the Champions League.
It's not just one game.
Yeah.
Been rattled the last 3 games. Rattled. It's actually embarrassing. And I'm not saying we're better than the team. Of course we know. But his play's terrible. You got a defence that can't defend. You got a young boy that's playing centre half. It's actually totally embarrassing.
It's interesting, Cammy, because Billy's made at least a fair acknowledgement that it's not only about tonight. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst doesn't have loads of goodwill in the tank amongst the Rangers fans. He's got some. He got them to a Europa League final, and they're 2 points behind Celtic. He has some goodwill in the tank for some Rangers fans, but it's not like up until kick-off tonight everyone thought he was the greatest Rangers manager ever. Far from that. So you then add the nature of the defeat tonight, the scoreline, to that existing feeling, and that's why we're hearing comments like Billy's and the caller before.
Yeah, again, there always has been, or certainly recently, a lot of question marks over Giovanni. Is he the man to take Rangers forward? And that's what I keep on hampering on about. Is he the man that progresses Rangers? Have they progressed since Steven Gerrard? I'm not sure. I don't know. Listen, they had a great run in the Europa League last season, but this season's been sticky. It's been a sticky start. Tonight's a hammer blow. I think there will be a lot of raw emotion tonight, and huge question marks over the manager. But there has to be question marks over the players as well. They need to take responsibility. See if Rangers players can't make tackles and engage players because they're scared that they're going to get taken on and get beaten, then they shouldn't be playing for Rangers, because you need to have broad shoulders to be out there, and you need to really be able to mix it when you need to. I just felt Rangers team can't collapse like that at Ibrox. They can't.
Billy, would you put the second half collapse down to?
I put it down to basically the team. I mean, the team's not got any better. And they say last year when we played, it was his team, it was Gerrard's team. He might have tinkered it and got through it, and he done well. But we're going back really. And the defence is a joke. We didn't never cover % and a half. A couple of injuries, we did. You got a young boy there. No blame the young boy. Young boys learn his trade. But you could actually go a journeyman centre half and paid a couple 100,000, played him at the end of the season. He went against the Celtic, shot a recognised centre half, and right through Europe. With the money they make, they couldn't get as a centre half. No centre half for a fixture. Because Barisic and Kane, and I know keep going on, but there's other ones that never done a job. But they too are scared. They can't go forward. He turns his back in the ball. Turn your back in the ball. I mean, a defender. And Kane didn't want the ball. A winner. He shouldn't be in the team. He should have put him in the reserves or let him go for nothing now. Quite honestly, the two of them.
Everyone's going to get it in the neck after that, Cammy. Are those two high up on the list of players who underperformed tonight?
Yeah, because I think they've been underperforming for a number of games now. It's not just about tonight. I think you look at Barisic for a number of the goals tonight, but you can look at a few other players, experienced players that probably let themselves down tonight. But there's been question marks over him for a long time now. And again, as I said, it's all about being brave as being a Rangers player. You need to be able to engage players and go and make tackles when you need to. The goal that really got me was when he just backed off for Salah to basically curl in. Like, it was like a training goal for him. Like, again, you need to engage these players. If you let them have that time and space and vision of an open goal, basically, then he's going to slide it in the corner. He's that good. But yeah, it's really, really disappointing.
One of them scared to defend, or one of them scared to go forward, and one of them doesn't want the ball, I think, was Billy's assessment of that left hand side pair for Rangers. Marvin, how much did they struggle tonight?
They did, but I still think in the first half that their performance, we're talking about Kent going in behind, etc., talking about a couple of balls Barisic, but I just think it was the second half they literally took their foot off the gas and they went from doing well to as Billy said, they kind of were awful in the second half. And I said it before the game, that left hand side for them and the right hand side for Liverpool is going to win or lose in the game, and tonight it lost. And Barisic, even a third goal there, drop him back, he's looking across the line, has to stay in line with the rest of the defenders. It was just, some of the defending was shambolic and not acceptable for a top team.
Tough question, I accept, Billy, but do you think you'll still feel the same about the manager in the morning? Is it maybe one of these things because it's just full time, or is he done for you?
No, it's basically done for me. It needs respect. The players he's bought are not even getting a game. His players, so-called players. And when he did this faulty centre-half position and off a couple of £100,000 until we got a couple of guys fit, I found quite strange and all. And he keeps playing Kent, and I know Kent's got it, but see if we can't date 5 or 6 weeks, there's other guys out there who want to play and wear that jersey. So why keep playing guys like you done? Because it's going to cost him his job. And they keep saying the players. It's him who puts the players on the park. So this players did the wash with me. At the end of the day, it's his 11 players. He's accountable, like any manager in any job. If he didn't do his job, he needs to go. It's simple as that.
Simple as that. I think Billy's angry, to say the least. Scott's and Govan, how angry are you after that, Scott?
Hi, Gordon, Marvin, Cammy.
Hello.
I left at 4. I'm really pleased I did, but I thought the second half was embarrassing. I'll agree with, is it Andrew? It was the first caller.
Yeah.
I agree with him. Kent, I don't know what Kent was doing in the park for the whole game, but it wasn't just him, the second half, the whole team. As soon as Goldson got taken off, and I hope that's not a bad injury, he's walked halfway. Nah, it's embarrassing. We shouldn't be losing 7-1.
I mean, I hate to tell you, Scott, right, but see if you thought it was bad, you've not seen 5, 6 and 7. It was it got worse, Cammy.
Yeah.
If Scott left early. Scott left at 4, and that's how he's feeling. I'm not sure how he'd feel if he'd stayed to the end.
And rightly so. Listen, the Rangers fans pay a lot of money and have followed the club for a long time. To see their team get beat by Liverpool probably wasn't a shock, but in that manner and by that many goals at Ibrox at your own stadium is embarrassing. And yeah, you've got to again look at the players on the pitch. I understand everyone's pointing the finger at Gio, but he puts the players on the pitch. I agree with that. Yes, he's the man that's accountable for all these players playing, but it was almost as if the fight just got drawn right out of them towards probably the last 3 goals. Me and Marv were speaking off air, and we're saying, like, when you're getting beat by 4-1, you shut up shop, you don't concede any more goals, you don't embarrass yourself at home. And Rangers allowed that to happen, and that's the players that have allowed that to happen.
There's a bit of this that I expected, Scott, after the game, after a result like that. I expected people to call for the manager's head. What I didn't maybe expect was it to be every caller. Are you a bit more relaxed about his role in this, or?
Well, actually, I was sitting when we were 2-1 down. I said to my mate, his job's not under threat here now, because he's got a goal there. And my mate turned around to me and said, it'll be different if it comes out 4-1. Well, it's come out 7-1. So I don't think he'll walk, but I think his job is seriously under threat now. And I don't want to see any manager go, and especially somebody like Gio, but it's just, he's the one, you're right, Cammy, he's the one that's picking the team, and the team have got to go and perform. But he's still picking, Gordon, did I not say this the other night there, that he's waiting to the last minute before changing a player like McGregor, McLaughlin for McGregor, and he's waiting to the last minute to change it instead of just getting it by the scruff and saying, right, I'm changing this. So, the team's all wrong for me, so it is.
If we were to go through every individual one of these and debate whether they were right, or we would be here all night, Marvin. But in terms of the role that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst plays, it does seem like there's a lot going on with team selection at the moment. And this is not reactionary, because I said this before the game. Sakala goes from never featuring to starting a game against Liverpool. Tillman goes from being a main part in the start of the season to I've got no idea where he is. Sometimes it's Matondo, sometimes it's Cholak who scores for fun in the league, and then it reverts to Morelos, but actually it was Cholak tonight. Right or wrong, it seems there's a lot going on with the team selection.
Yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of tinkering going on, and at times I get it, because if someone's not performing well, or somebody else is performing better than them, in better form, etc., then yeah, bring them in or take them out. But I definitely agree with what you're saying. There has been a lot of tinkering, and today, one thing, just talking on today's result, and we're speaking about the first half and how well they did and how hard they pressed, but we spoke about how leggy a few of them looked. And I wonder if the second half it was just a fitness thing. I wonder if they had nothing left to give, running on fumes, and Liverpool went the other way. I wonder if that's what it is. But if that's the case, and you're tired after 45 minutes in the Champions League, that's a massive, massive worry, Gordon.
I mean, on that, I get the point. And Rangers were decent in the first half, but it didn't strike you as being like a superhuman effort, did it?
No, but it's the turnovers, it's the pressing, it's everything like that. Look at when Rangers played Liverpool last week at Anfield, and they tired towards the end of that game also, and they didn't press nearly as hard. In the first half, they put a lot into it, an awful lot into it. They worked hard. They have second balls. They were pressing when the ball went, back towards Alisson and everything. I just felt in the second half, it was everyone. It was every player. And I said at the start of it, you need 9-10 players to perform at their peak to beat Liverpool. The first half they did that. The second half, you were lucky to get one or two.
They were very disjointed in the second half, and again, if that's down to fitness, though, I think the manager needs to identify that at 3-1 and say, let's just sit in, keep our shape, make it difficult for Liverpool. They made it easy for Liverpool.
But you address that in if your players aren't fit enough at this point, if it is that, you have to address that
100%,
and that's 100%. On the manager rather than the players.
Yeah, I get that, and but again, as players, I just think the individual errors tonight, the sort of lack of fight, belief, everything that looked on the Rangers players' faces towards the end of that game, it's quite worrying, to be honest.
John is in Annie's land. I mean, John, someone will play back the calls from before the game. They're on the podcast. There was a lot of positivity. There was a feeling amongst Rangers fans who phoned in that they could maybe get at this Liverpool team and they could get something. Fast forward a couple of hours, it couldn't have been more different. So how does it feel looking back on it now?
I'd just like to say, guys, my first time caller, so thank you for having me on.
Pleasure.
No, honestly, I'm totally, utterly gutted. I've never been a big fan of Gio's, to be honest. When he first came, I was like, great, I think he's an ex-player, he's going to do us a great turn. But I've actually, honestly, the more I see his team selections, his choices, I'm not just blaming him for tonight. I think the players did actually freeze in the second half. I thought the first half they were very good. But for me, I'm just actually gutted, to be honest. I think it's the worst memory that I've got at this level of football, and it's just absolutely soul-destroying for me. And
that's the bit that's going to be tough for the manager in the coming days, Cammy. We don't know how his employers feel about this, but in many ways the people who are the most important are his fan base. And John said, I mean, I was never a huge fan anyway, and there will be a lot of people like that, not them all, but if you've already got some convincing to do for the fans and then that happens, that's tough.
Yeah, the pressure's ramped right up on Gio at the moment. The scrutiny, everyone will be looking at his reaction. It'll be interesting, as I say, to see what he says after the game, because for me, I think he needs to say a lot of the right things. I think he needs to come out and be honest and open that it was embarrassing and not good enough for Rangers, and he needs to kind of try and, again, he'll be looking at it and trying to explain in his head of why the collapse happened so quickly. But yeah, he needs to. He will take some responsibility, but I think he also needs to put some blame onto the players because they weren't good enough. They conceded too many soft, sloppy goals. But yeah, the jury is massively out, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few days.
Which players need to take the blame as well, though, John? It's obviously not all the manager, I assume.
No, I actually think there's a few players that really should step up to the plate. I think you've got guys like Tavernier, Tavernier is great going forward. I don't think he's got much at the back, to be honest. But it's more, to me, it's just that there's no organisation in there. I just think that the guy's not got a clue what he's doing, to be perfectly honest. I really don't think he has. And when he came to Rangers last year, we had a 6-point lead, or whatever it was, 6 or 7 point lead. We blew that. I know we got to the Europa final, which was great, and I still believe, honestly, in my heart of hearts, Aaron Ramsey carried the can for that final, losing it. Aaron Ramsey could have made a difference during the game, not being brung on just to take a penalty. I just basically think he could have actually made a difference for us. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I must admit, I didn't expect to be talking about Aaron Ramsey tonight. You were his biggest fan, Marvin. We're looking over old ground slightly, but I think in the bigger picture, what Matt's getting at is he feels there was a certain amount of damage done prior tonight. Anyway, that's John's take on things.
Yeah, and listen, he's got the facts to back him up. Like you said, the point swing that's happened. Yes, getting to the Europa League final, but none of that can mask the 7-1 defeat today. And for me, that probably puts Rangers out of Europe because I think it's 11 goal difference now, 11 goal swing they've got with Ajax. That's basically your 4 points, aren't you? You have to beat Ajax and then draw the next game. Hope Ajax lose both. It's such a the defending today, and some of the players have to take accountability. Listen, there's no doubt about it, but a lot of that I think is going to fall on the manager's door. And
the Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Right, so when you're a manager and these things happen, it falls at your door.
Right, thank you, John in Annie's Land. Well, go on then, one more before the break. Why not? Matt's a Rangers fan and Pollock. Every single caller, Matt's saying manager out. Is it that bad, or are you finding a bit more of a sort of calm take on things, which might be tough after that game?
Well, first of all, before I start slotting who I think was to blame tonight, look, the Rangers recruitment at the transfer window was a disaster. The board of directors need to have a look at themselves as well before we start slating Van Bronckhorst.
Mm-hmm.
Who could he have put on the part tonight that made a difference with the squad he's got? Right, you've got Barisic, who's a racehorse with blinkers to go in the direction he should be going. Tavernier, the amount of balls that Rangers gave away, they started off well, 15 minutes, scored the goal, whatever it was. Right, be pushing on to Liverpool. Right, and Goldson gets injured. McGregor made a couple of mistakes in a standing game last week. Let's look at the recruitment at Ibrox. Right, I've changed my tune. I was coming on to slaughter players and slaughter Van Bronckhorst, but the recruitment at Ibrox at the transfer window was a disgrace. They brought John Suter on, signed him, injured, still injured. Right, who's recruited him? Where is it, the players that should? Steve Davis. I'm 61. He's half my age. They bring him on. Have we not got another midfield player at Ibrox? Look, they've been the young boys that played in the League Cup. Give them a chance. The recruitment at Ibrox over the transfer window was shocking. Now, the last time Rangers got beat 7-1, I remember it was 1957 with Celtic at Parkhead. Right? This is a disaster tonight. The amount of time they lost the ball, the players that were non-existent, they took stage fright. Liverpool, they were talking about Liverpool in a great team. Liverpool, when Rangers scored first, they're there for the taking. Then we started getting the ball away and make mistakes. You know what I mean? I'm shattered, man. I feel I'm going to my bed.
To be fair, it's half 10 at night. Yeah, that's fine. It's a bad result when the recruitment department's getting it 20 minutes after full time. Genuinely, there's something extra critical about that, where it's so bad you actually go beyond who you saw on the pitch and go straight up the stairs. But it's the changes, isn't it? It's the changes that Matt's talking about. Who could they bring on? I think Davis is the only midfielder of any sort of experience that they could bring on the pitch. They're in the Champions League. They've got money for being in the Champions League. They haven't spent it. They've got a left back on the bench, and people have been talking about Barisic so far this season not being great. He's poor again tonight. If they don't change a left back, then that tells you something's awfully wrong. But if you're going to spend that money on a left back and he's not good enough to play domestically for you at this moment in time, again, Matt's right to question the recruitment. Just out of interest, Matt, because I'm waiting on just one Rangers fan's out of interest to come on and say, no, it's too early to be talking about sacking the manager. Is that the way you feel, or are you on board with all the previous callers?
No, and I've had boys in my work. I feel like pulling a sickie anymore, but I can't. I need to face them.
Especially now that you've just outed yourself on the radio, Matt.
I know, everybody wants ready Van Bronckhorst, but a joiner can only, a builder can only build with the tools he's got, and his hands are tied. I mean, see this sack Van Bronckhorst, get rid of him, start again. Where do we start? It's the same squad. They have the same players. It's like if somebody's going to come in and wave a magic wand and all of a sudden they're going to be brilliant. Right, forget about the Champions League now, it's done. Let's get the heat together. They all should be training tomorrow morning. You shouldn't get a day off. I wouldn't give them a day off tomorrow. They'd be in the morning at 7 o'clock. Start with me at 7 in the morning and get into it for the game against Motherwell on Sunday. And there need to be a reaction. See, I understand my boy's about to come in for Ibrox. He'll be greeting paying £60 for a ticket. But You know what I mean? Christ, it's going to be murder. A hell of a night.
I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't laugh at other people's misfortune, but even Cammy, who's a passionate Rangers fan, Matt has just summed it up brilliantly. It's the exhaling loudly, the loss of words. Matt, if Matt's friends are listening, see if he phones in sick tomorrow. He's absolutely at it. Matt, have a good night, will you? Look after yourself.
Take care, boys. Good night.
Even he's laughing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. It's one of those nights for the Rangers fans. But some of you might be crying. You can do that as well if you want. 01419511025. We'll get you next.
This is Rangers versus Liverpool. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Marvin, Bartley and Cammy Bell are here. It's 01419511025. I know you're not supposed to make light of a serious situation for Rangers fans, but that break probably seriously wasn't far off the time it took Salah to score a hat-trick. It was incredible when you look at it. And I saw this tweet. I don't know if you follow this guy on Twitter. He's a kind of statistician, but he always puts a sort of strange little spin in things. A guy called Duncan Alexander, and he says that Salah's hat-trick took 5 seconds less than the song Tiny Dancer by Elton John. Wow. There we go, just for a bit of context.
Made me feel a little bit better.
I'm sure it did. You'll have that on all the way. You'll have that on repeat on the way back to Annan tonight. Do you know what, Rangers fans, see if you're having a tough night, see if you're heading back to Govan or Bishop Briggs or Larkhall or wherever it may be. Cammy Bell's got to drive back to Annan and think about that defeat.
Crying all
the way. Bit of sympathy for him. I know some of you will have gone long journeys as well, so he won't be the only one. Brian is in Bishop Briggs, funnily enough. How do you feel, Brian?
Hiya guys, how you doing? First of all, I'd just like to come out and say I'm devastated at the way we lost that game. It was just a symbolic second half. But I mean, Gordon, I would like to actually, if it was possible, can you get every single caller that is calling for Giovanni's head on a plate now, get them all on and ask them if they felt the same way at half time when we were still in the game here? And I think that, see, every single one of the players, I think Cammy was spot on what he said earlier on. He said to play with Rangers you need broad shoulders, you need to take responsibility. Every single one of the players tonight let Giovanni and let all us fans down. And that's just my thoughts on it. I don't think we should be calling for the manager's head, because see, at the end of the day, we started the game so well. We played the first half so well. We took it right to Liverpool. So the players just fell away.
But if, just to follow your logic, Brian, if Giovanni Van Bronckhorst gets praise for the good first half, he must get criticism for the bad second half then.
But I don't understand. So see when Giovanni goes into the dressing room at half time, does he? I mean, he's probably raring the boys to keep going, keep doing exactly what he's doing, because we were playing brilliant. I don't understand that. I don't get. We came out the second half. I don't know if you could just maybe put it down to how Liverpool stepped it up a notch and they went into another gear and we just took our foot off the gas. I don't know, but I just don't really feel that Giovanni should be taking all the stick for this. Yeah. And previous callers have been doing that. I'm just trying to get across to everybody.
Listen, and by the way, I'm happy for that. It's one of my go-to lines on here. I like to hear both sides of it, because it's important to try and understand as many opinions as we can. Marvin, is that it's the first defence of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst we've heard. I would still test Brian with that, though. You know, if you're going to give him credit for the first half, then he needs to take the flak for the second, surely.
Yeah, I think, everyone's accountable for that result, and as Brian said, in the first half the performance was good, the energy was high, the turnovers were very good, they were pressing high, and the second half, we spoke about the first 15 minutes, they completely fell off of it. So whether that's a tactical thing or that's a fitness thing, or it's the players deciding off their own back, we're just going to sit off the game, whoever decided that has a lot to answer for, because I don't feel they recovered from that. And then they looked leggy, and then they were out of the game, and then before you know it was 7-1. The first 15 minutes of the second half was so vital, and Rangers for me did complete opposite to what they did in the first half, and everything Brian's praising them for.
I mean, Brian talks about maybe a Liverpool up to, I think probably what makes it so bad tonight, Cammy, is Liverpool did up it, but maybe only after like 3 or 4. That's when they actually upped it. That's when the big hitters came on. That's when they were going forward at will. But they probably had won the game before then.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it was just down to Liverpool upping it. I think when you analyse the goals, the manner of the way that Rangers lost the goals, the desire to not concede a goal, I felt wasn't there, especially after they probably went 4 behind. That's when you grit your teeth and you say, as a team, you get a leader on the pitch that turns around to everyone and says, we do not concede another goal at Ibrox. We don't make this 5, 6, 7 because it's embarrassing. And it asks a lot of questions, which everyone is now asking. If it had ended up 4-1, everyone would be disappointed and downbeat about it, but you're not embarrassed on your own patch. And I think that's the biggest thing that will hurt the Rangers fans. But I do agree with Brian that the Rangers players need to take a huge amount of responsibility of what happened tonight. They underperformed, they collapsed, their mentality wasn't good enough. It's got to be questioned, their mentality. Losing that amount of goals in the second half at home, your mentality has to be questioned.
Okay, which players then are most culpable, Brian?
I mean, you could argue in the second half all of them. I mean, I think for what I've seen, Ben Davies, I need to give him like a kind of shout out, if you will, because I do feel that he was really, really good tonight. I mean, but I mean, I could sit here all day, Gordon. I could sit and go through every single one of them with things that had done wrong. I expected more for John Lundstrom in certain parts of the game, and James Tavernier as well. I feel like he underperformed as well. Listen, I could go on. I could sit here until the show finished. Can I just say just one more thing just before I go?
Of course.
I'm just the other caller that was on as well. I feel that he was spot on about the recruitment side of things. I just feel when you spend £5 million on a left back and he can't even get in the first team domestically, never mind in Europe, and you could argue our best bit of business in that window, I would probably say would be Lawrence, but he's injured. That's obviously a pity because I do feel that we're missing him, but I feel that not really defend Gio game, but I just feel like it has been let down a wee bit with the recruitment side of things in the backing.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pointless to analyse individual goals when there are 7 of them, Marvin, because it takes quite a while. I just wonder, Brian mentioning the captain, it seems like such a long time ago, but now that you can look back on it with the benefit of hindsight, Rangers sort of started to set the tone for their sloppiness with the first goal that they lost. I know everyone who's come on the phone and said the first half was great. The first half was obviously much better than the first. There were still some really disappointing moments in the first half, none more so than that goal that got Liverpool level.
Most definitely, and that completely changed really the flow of the game for me, because the next 5 minutes kind of after that, Rangers began to struggle a lot. And like you said, that goal there is the worst one for me, because it's so easily avoided. Getting Sakala on the toes, Tavernier becoming side on. That's the captain of the football club. He has to pull. Sakala's in no man's land. He's a centre forward. When they come back to defend corners, often that happens, Gordon. You have to be ready to pull him on the toes and avoid that goal. But again, it's honestly, I completely understand, everything what the fans are saying. I get what Brian's saying. The first half for me as well, totally agreement. Really, really good. Second half, so far from acceptable. And whoever made a decision, as I said, to step off the game, whether it was fitness, whether it was the manager, whether it was the players themselves, have a lot to answer for, because that ended up in them getting beat 7-1.
Right, thank you to Brian. A bit of a balance there, or a bit of a defence, if you like, for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, because he's been getting it tight on the phone lines so far. Let's bring in Graham in Easterhouse. Are you forgiving the manager, Graham?
Okay, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I just absolutely gutted with it. It was just what happened I just don't know what happened in the second half. Big Barisic, man, had an absolute nightmare. I came out of there, I had my wee grandson with me, and I came out and I was absolutely gutted, and I said to him, I said, 70 quid for a ticket for that. He said, oh, Grand, that's only a tenner a goal. He cheered me up, but ending, man. So, but absolutely joyed, man.
Oh, this is not the way it's supposed to go. Can't argue with that arithmetic, Marvin. But yeah, when you're measuring how many pounds it cost per opposition goal, you've probably had one of those nights.
Especially when the ticket was that expensive, eh?
Yeah.
Most definitely. Listen, it's honestly, we can speak to a blue in the face about it. I'm interested to see what Joe says after the game. I'm not one for managers, really publicly naming players or saying that they let the club down or anything else, but I think tonight it calls for that. I don't think it's solely on him. Yes, he's the manager. Yes, he's on the side, but those players on the pitch, we spoke about it earlier with 3-4-1 down. Okay, let's just sit in, boys, and not concede again. It can't go 5-6-7 and get as embarrassing as it did today. So listen, it's such a tough one. Listen, your grandson's made me laugh, and I think he's cheered Cammy up even a little bit. So fair play to the young lad.
I mean, Graham, the manager's getting a lot of stick on here. Is that fair, or do the players need to take more blame, or who gets it?
I think they've all got to take a wee shot at it, mate. I think for the first half, everybody was. The jersey's too big for some of the players, I think. It's too heavy for them. They shouldn't be there, some of them. Like Barisic's a nightmare. Scotty Arfield, he died a death, mate. He scored the goal and... I don't know what happened, mate. My head's bursting it.
My head's burst. I don't think we could sum it up any better, Cammy. Heads will be burst across one half of Glasgow tonight.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of heads burst for the next few days, I think.
Heads burst, Cammy, come on. In Glasgow now.
Heads. There'll be frustration, anger, disappointment. But again, it's something that Rangers need to address pretty quickly. They've got a few days of probably a lot of questions, criticism coming their way. And this is when you find out the Rangers players that can handle it or not, because Sunday is going to be an interesting game. The fans will turn up at Motherwell expecting 3 points. It'll be a tough game there, but they'll let Rangers know their frustration of tonight. It'll still be there on Sunday. They need to change the mindset of the Rangers fans, and that'll not be easy.
Yeah, I like to think we'll get the thoughts of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst before the end of the show, so don't go anywhere, because it's the rivalry in this city. It's the way it works. Rangers fans, you'll want answers, and rival fans, you'll probably want to hear it anyway, because that's just the way these things work. So hopefully we'll get that in before the end of the show to see how he felt it went and where it went wrong. And of course, Marvin, we've not found out yet how Connor Goldson is, because we might not see him anytime soon, depending the severity of his injury.
And Ryan Jack, so yes, you use the game 7-1, and you've also lost two big characters, two big players. Connor Goldson came off, was it 1-1? Came off just before half time, and then all of a sudden it's 7-1. Been a massive player for Rangers over the years. Mr. Dependable, always being out there, and capitulation in the second half. Partly down to Rangers coming off it, partly down to losing, for me, argue their best centre half, no doubt about it. So, listen, there's a lot to worry about for Rangers and the manager going forward, because you're going to have to replace him. Do you stick with King in there? Do you go to a back three to give him a bit of protection for the young man? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and as Cammy said, they need to go to Motherwell on Sunday, and that's not an easy place to go at the moment with the revival under Hamill.
He's gone. His head's burst to the extent that he's gone. I was going to bring him back in.
He just hung up.
He's up with old grandsons get school in the morning, to be fair.
And no dinner money now, because
he spent it on the ticket. However, he's been doing his maths homework on the job. He's going to show off his timetable when he goes in tomorrow. Grandson's 18, by the way, as well. That's the weirdest bit about it. 01419511025 or Twitter at Clyde SSB. Dare I? I've been so busy on the phones, I've not delved into Twitter yet. Andrew Ironside says, how can we expect the players to have fight if our manager doesn't come across like he's got any? Gerrard brought back some grit to the team, and since Gio came in, it's just been a decline, says Andrew.
Yeah, I think Gio's a different character from Steven Gerrard on the sidelines. He maybe doesn't show as much emotion. I wouldn't say that means he doesn't care as much. Obviously he wants to be successful and drive this club forward. So yeah, again, I think he'll be really, really hurting. He'll be asking himself a lot of questions tonight, whether he got things wrong, which I'm pretty sure he will openly admit that there's some decisions he maybe got wrong. I'm not sure, as Marv said. It'll be interesting to see what was said at half time, because if Rangers were instructed to sit off the game, I think that is a massive mistake, because that's where it changed. Half time, Rangers were well in the game in the first half, and if it had continued that first half and didn't have the break, that would have suited Rangers, because they were absolutely fine. But the second half, they were just a different team, and the goals, the collapse from the goals they conceded is a worrying sign for Rangers, because that's not like a Rangers team that I've seen before.
Just watching the goals back there, sorry Gordon, the second, third, fourth goal, and probably the fifth, are avoidable.
Yeah,
taking the first out of it, because that shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
But you can't do that in the Champions League. Just watching them back, it's unbelievable.
That's probably the biggest disappointment for me, is that none of them goals are worldy goals, top corners, and we're like, wow, Salah's done something amazing. It's all been gifts.
Bit of a mix away. They still obviously had that level to punish as well. There weren't easy goals for Liverpool to score. I know what you're saying in the sense of Rangers can do more, but was it not the perfect storm in that Rangers were so slack and Liverpool were clinical?
Yeah, no, I'll give you that most definitely. But I think, if you offer up those chances domestically, I think you're going to concede 4 or 5 of those. That's the level of goals that they score.
Okay, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Rangers fans, you'll want an explanation, and other people might be interested in hearing how he sums it up as well. We're going to do that next, so stay right there.
This is Rangers versus Liverpool. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Let's quickly hear from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst then. A 7-1 defeat to Liverpool. How did the Rangers manager react, and how will you react to his reaction?
Well, it's very hard to explain at the moment, to process. I'm still processing the game, especially the second half. As you said, we started the game really well. First half, played really well. We knew the strength of Liverpool, of course, with their pressing, and I think we played well over their press with balls behind their defense, playing from the second ball, and continue our attack from those moments. I think we scored a goal also in a great moment, in a transition moment. And then I think started already how we gave the corner away. We knew that if you play short passes after short passes, they will press you, and when you lose, they will be very dangerous. Well, I think that was the first moment we did that, conceded the corner kick and got the goal against. First half and the last half an hour was night and day, comparison how we played, and that difference in level, that's too much in Champions League. Overall performance, the result is not the way we want to represent this club. So that's no excuses for this performance.
He's usually pretty level. It's about as emotional, or as we've heard Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, maybe just by his standards. Roddy, let's squeeze one more in before we go. How do you feel tonight?
Hi, Gordon. I was just utterly dejected. Was at the game, and just really, really poor. I think obviously Goldson going off had a big impact on us, but just the absolute failure in the second half to even string a few passes together, and just comedy defending. I mean, I don't think Van Bronckhorst is going to go. I think you'll see out the season, but I think it only ends one way now. And how does he lift that team now after that? I mean, it was embarrassing, really.
So not the end, but the beginning of the end. Is that the way you feel?
I think so. I think it can only go one way. I mean, we've seen this play out before. Managers, I don't think they have a great record of coming back from that type of defeat, and he's only ever going to be one defeat or one poor performance. And let's be honest, there's been enough of them this season. I don't really see how it's going to pan out for him now, and it's a shame because he came in, he's a likeable guy, and he's rode on a lot of the success last season in Europa, obviously, and everyone loved that. But I mean, it's not happened at all this season, and tonight was just, Liverpool are a great side, no doubt about it. But the second half performance was utterly dreadful.
Utterly dreadful. It's the least you can expect from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Marvin. I'm not trying to dish out any awards for this, but he was using some strong language there. Like I said, it's not usually his style, but that probably sums up just how bad it was for him to be part of.
Yeah, no, exactly. And rightfully so, by the way, with the strong words that he used. And like you said, he's normally calm, cool and collected. He didn't raise his voice, but he let you know in certain terms that is not good enough for Rangers Football Club, and he's right. And as I said, looking back at these goals, yes, the manager's going to take some flack, but sometimes you can't tell your players that they have to tackle. You can't tell your players they have to get close. Listen, us we can go and play now against Salah, and one thing we would try and do is not to let him in on his left foot. So that's not down to the manager. That's down to individuals letting the manager down, defending in that way. And we've been speaking on the break. Do that in the SPFL, you're going to concede goals. And I get it. Listen, he has to take some of the blame, but some of those players really, really let not only the manager down, but the club down as well today, and the fans.
I mean, Roddy's is a very measured assessment from Roddy. He's not on here saying the manager must go, Cammy, but he doesn't think things come back from here quickly. He doesn't think it gets better from here. Do you understand that?
I do and I don't, because ultimately Rangers need to move forward. They can, if Giovanni Van Bronckhorst isn't the manager to take Rangers forward, then they need to move on from him, because they can't, for me, they can't go into domestic form. They're after the title, so if we're just saying, alright, we'll stick with Giovanni till the end of the season and we'll see where we go with this, but he's probably going to let us down, we're not going to win anything this season, make the decision just now. If that's what we believe that is the right decision, then you have to be brave and make it. I'm not saying that is the right decision, but what I'm saying is it needs to be a manager that's going to take the club forward. They can't stand still. They've stood still for long enough.
Okay, we'll leave it there, Roddy. Thank you very much. That seems like a sensible conclusion to finish things on. Measured disappointment from Roddy in East Kilbride. Thank you to Marvin and to Cammy. Thank you to you lot out there for listening, for calling in, for tweeting. That was quite the end to the show. It's not the positive end to the show you want from the Scottish teams in Europe, but it certainly was dramatic. Rangers losing at home to Liverpool 7-1. It was an absolute capitulation in the second half, so much so that we will be reacting to this for days and days to come. I have no doubt about it. So with that in mind, make sure you join us at 6 o'clock tomorrow with Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson. We'll look back on the week as a whole for Scottish clubs in Europe, because Hearts play as well. Not an entirely classic week so far. Let's see what Robbie Nielsen's side can do. In the meantime, enjoy your night. Amber is up next, and we'll speak to you at 6 tomorrow.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchised dealer groups in the UK.